What's up, Q Army? You guys ready for some booms today? We got young Pharaoh. Let me hear you guys. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. That's right. Truth for this republic. Today we've got a very special guest, but first let me bring in my partner in justice, Mr. Shady Groove. Shady, welcome to the Matrix Groove Show, my friend.
Hello everyone, nice to see you today, Matrix. I hope you're doing well out there. I hope everyone is paying extra attention, and we have a very, very special show for you today.
And why don't we bring in Mr. Amazing Spitter of Truth. I am so impressed with this gentleman. Young Pharaoh, come on in here, my friend. Come on in and say hello to the Matrix Groove Hour. And we've got some people from, some family from your show as well. Thank you, brother, for coming here, my friend. Oh my gosh, just so honored and humbled.
That's right. Listen, I want to give, both you guys the most sincerest amount of love and appreciation I can give. And before, I even, say hey to everybody, I want to say, special shout out to this platform, for allowing me to come on. I don't really like to use the word humble because humble means to, weaken yourself or lose your strength. So I like to use the word noble. I come real noble on this platform. I'm appreciative not only of this platform, but to everybody in tune with this platform. And, inviting me on to help decode the matrix, as we like to say. So with that being said, I want to let everyone know if I look a little weird, it's because I'm on my phone right now versus my computer because the internet is acting super weird. And for those of you who watched my two interviews yesterday, my internet just magically kept shutting off. And so I don't want to risk my internet shutting off in the middle of this interview. So I'm on my phone. But with that being said, as long as you guys can hear me clear and see me clearly, we're going to get the job done, as always.
Yeah, you look great. You sound good. And they are attacking this stream as we speak, too. But we're going to get through it because we are over the target. We're stronger than that. We're going to will those bad energies away. The what do you call them, Pharaoh?
You said
frequencies.
I use the proper word. You talking about these deep state entities?
Yes.
I got a lot of words that are some nice, some not so nice. But we want to call them, we want to call them what they are, which is, demons in the shadows. And one thing I want to, stress to people is, because a lot of people have a problem getting over fear, and that there is no really way to get over something than to just do it. And these people hide not because they know if they pop out it's an advantage, it's because they know if they pop out it's a disadvantage. So I just want people to know, for everybody that's afraid to speak up or do the right thing, you are actually hurting the movement, because speaking up is literally 80% of the battle. Putting these people on Front Street is literally 80% of the battle. So if you snatch these people out of the shadows, that is their most vulnerable point, of their stance, period.
Absolutely. And that's a great way to put it. And I, just like to say real quick, I've been watching you a little bit for the last few days, my friend, and the stuff that you are presenting, the absolute factual truth of the stuff that you're presenting is amazing. You have done, I can tell the extensive research that you have done to find out the truth, and you're presenting the truth for people. And we in the Q community and the in general truth community are looking for that. We're looking for people who can take this very complicated issue over here and reduce it to the least common denominator over here and pass it along to other people who have been brainwashed to not see or hear anything outside of their own echo chamber.
That's right. And I have a very great way of simplifying complicated things. And that's what I believe I've done here. And I want to let, the Q community, the intellectual community, and white America specifically know that I would like to consider myself one of the best that the Black community has to offer. And the reason that I'm saying that is because it took me a long time to get here. And I just wanted to give my disclaimer, as you guys get to know me more and more on this interview, I've had mentalities. For example, when you're a kid, you want to be a Power Ranger. And then when you're a teenager, you want to be something else. Then when you're an adult, you want to be something else. So me, as a Black man, my journey, here is, to me, in regards to my personal relationship with the spirit world, is divine. And I say that because I've dodged abortion as a kid. I've dodged vaccinations. I've dodged religious, indoctrination. I've dodged public school indoctrination. I've dodged a gangbanger mentality. I've dodged I wouldn't say hate all white people mentality, but I would say not being able to see who's who mentality. For example, I'm not ashamed. I let people know, the further back in my channel you go, you can see my psychological development. And the reason that I bring that up is because I want people to know you can come to this understanding where I'm at. There's not a mentality that most people have, especially Black people, that I haven't had. I've had a gangbanger mentality. I've had a white man is the devil mentality. I've had all of that shit. And as I continue to educate myself and really come into universal truth, I am right now where I feel, my ancestors want me to be, to which is, hell yeah, it's racism. Hell yeah, it's systematic. It's all of that. But we got to understand where it's really coming from. And one thing that helped me really realize that was the painful experiences that I've been through in life, such as, I don't hate to bring it up, but it's unfortunate I got to bring it up. But things like going to prison, I was able to see, like, for example, right? I'm gonna give everybody a story. I'm gonna tell a quick story. In prison, right? And this guy probably still works there, right? There was a CO, and he was extremely racist, and he was like a Klansman and a Freemason, right? And he actually had a tattoo he has still to this day, a tattoo of a dead Black baby on his forearm swinging from a tree. Now, the reason I bring that up is because he's white and he's racist. Now, you have other COs that may be assholes, yes, but they're not like him, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so when I was in prison, it kind of like, I didn't grow up around white people at all. Most of the time when I came in contact with white people, I was going to court. I'm just going to be totally honest with y'all. That was the most time I came in contact with white people, was when it was time to go to court. So I didn't really know how white people operated psychologically besides what TV told me. And what I experienced. And so my experience with white people was horrible all my life, from racism, police brutality, ignorant teachers, and just, it was a horrible experience. So I didn't realize that these people were put into these positions on purpose. Nobody really realized that. We just felt like, white people are racist and F. So when I went to prison is when I started to see, like, okay, this person is extremely racist and grimy. This person might just be ignorant, but he's not like that. And so prison actually showed me diversity. As unfortunate as that experience was, it showed me the truth. And I started to actually confirm the existence of Freemasons through my experience with prison, because I seen it. You know what I'm saying? And I had an experience one time where I was going to court, and the sheriff that was taking me to court, they put me in this cell, and it was like a bullpen that I didn't even know existed. And they put me in this bullpen, and I'm sitting in the bullpen, and it was a white guy in there already, and he was like, "Hey, man," and he threw up a Freemasonic symbol to me. Now I knew it was a Freemasonic symbol because I've been studying this stuff even before I went to jail, and I have a pyramid on my neck that I had when I was 15, and I got the pyramid on my neck studying African culture. But we know that Freemasons utilize a lot of symbols that may or may not be, of original origins to them. So a lot of people see me with the pyramid, they thought I was an Illuminati or something like that. So when they put me into the bullpen, it was an inmate, but I can tell he wasn't really an inmate because he had on an orange jumpsuit, but it wasn't like the one I had on, if y'all feel where I'm coming from. So he asked me, like, "Hey, man, what do you think about Freemasons?" And I was like 18, I was like 19 at the time. And I'm like, or I was either 19 or 20. And I was like, I don't really fuck with Freemasons. They worship the devil. And then he was like, yeah, man, me either. But I can tell he only said that because that was my response.
Right.
So it was at that point in time when I knew this shit was real. And I was like, oh, this shit is for real, because they didn't put me in a whole, like, honestly, to be totally honest with y'all, I can't even tell you where the fuck they took me. So if you tell me, you know, show us the bullpen, all I can show you is the little joint to the side. I couldn't even show you. It was like ducked off. And then I'm like, okay, so they was fishing to see if I was a Mason or not. So I knew right then and there it was real. And then when I went upstate and I started seeing, you know, COs with the square and compasses, and then I had another CO, you know what I'm saying? Because I had my connection with the spirit world, honestly, in my cell when I was in segregation. I mean, I was in a segregational housing unit. And I had a conversation, you know, with my personal ancestors, my personal spirit guide. And I was talking to my ancestors, and I'm like, you know, when I get out of this situation, I'm not asking for a get out of jail free card, you know, even though I was fighting a case that I was not guilty of. I'm still fighting it right now. But I'm like, I'm not even asking for a get out of jail free card. I just want to be put in a more positive, healthy position when I get out of jail. And from that point on, all I can, you know, explain to people, as anybody who know me from my platform for years, I know I always use the Iron Man analogy. It's like how Iron Man got that light on his chest. I just felt like my chest light up. And, you know, to me, I understand that's my heart chakra. I felt my heart chakra activate. And I just started reading. And when I tell y'all, I just started reading and going to the law library for no reason. Like, I just started reading and reading and reading. And I started just reading random shit. Like, I didn't even have a particular subject. Like, I got a chemistry book, and I took a notebook and I started to just copy the chemistry book word for word. I memorized the entire periodic elements tables chart, and I just started just doing random shit. And I just started just learning and digesting information. And then the reason I'm bringing this up is because I noticed that the COs started to treat me different when they seen that I was intellectual. So I'm like a 19, 20-year-old in prison, and I'm moving like I'm a old timer lifer. And it was another CO. He whatchamacallit, he really, you know, established it in my mind that this shit is real, because they started doing shit like the phone would ring on the desk, and the CO would be like, you know, Daniels, come to the bubble. And I'm like, you know, anybody that been to jail, you know, we don't play the bubble. You know what I mean? Y'all know how that go. We don't do the bubble. So I'm like, come to the bubble. And they're like, oh, you know, CO such and such just called, and he said you should read this book. So it's like they were seeing me read and suggested me books to read. So I'm like, how the fuck, you know what I'm saying? How the fuck is they doing it? And then I just had a CO straighten out, and I'm gonna keep everybody's name, you know, confidential. I'm not out nobody, but I'm gonna just say CO. I had a CO literally ask me, like, he was like, man, you really smart. You the smartest person. He's like, you the smartest young man I ever met. He was like, what you doing when you get out of here? And I was like, man, I'm just trying to, you know, go to college and live my life, because one of my dreams was, I actually love animation. I'm a really big anime guy. You know, I had a comic book collection of all kind of things before I went. I lost it all when I went, but I'm type of guy. I had comic books that wasn't even open yet. So like I'm really into all of that. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to go to school for animation graphic design, and then I wanted to use my mind to subliminally insert intelligence into my animation. So basically do what the deep state does, but in an actual positive manner. So, you know,
reversing the spell.
Right. Kind of like Boondocks. And so when I told him that, he was like, man, you ever think about becoming a Freemason? And I was like, nah, I don't want to become no Freemason. You know what I mean? He was like, why not? And I'm like, because y'all worship the devil. And then he was like, you know, we don't worship the devil. But I'm like, nigga, you worship the devil. But long story short, prison made me, my prison experience let me know this shit was real. And there's nobody that can, you know what I'm saying, reverse that. And the reason that I brought up the racist guy in the beginning to put it into context is because he was a Mason, but he was a Klansman. And then you had other white COs that they was just normal. You know, like they come on a unit, they're not bothering nobody. You know, they don't give a fuck. Like you got COs that be like, listen, if y'all fight, go in the bathroom. I don't give a fuck. And then you got other COs that come and just wreak havoc for no reason. And so it was in prison where I actually started to distinguish different types of white people. And I'm not, you know, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, and I'm gonna be honest with everybody watching. I don't trust all white people. I don't at all. And the reason I don't is for the exact shit I'm explaining. I don't know who's a Mason. I don't know who's. I can't tell.
Yep.
But my prison experience, it was the first thing that let me know something is not right. It just let me know, because like I would get into it with officers that would just be racist as hell. And people don't think police is racist. They're very racist. Like the way prison works is like the most dangerous time of your prison experience is your last 90 days. Anybody will tell you that, because that's when all of the KKK motherfuckers start messing with you. So they start doing shit like putting knives in your cell and shit like that. So anybody that's ever been to prison, they'll tell you, as soon as you hit the 90-day mark, you don't really see them in the yard. You don't really see them leaving their cell, because they be afraid that the police gonna plant something in their cell to charge them and give them more time.
To keep them there. Wow.
Yeah. So by me experiencing shit like that, it really let me know, like, okay, it's something deeper, even deeper than just blatant racism. Because I've met racist white people, but they weren't like Freemasons. They might have been ignorant, but they weren't, deep state. And then I've met police that was like you're somebody more than just a racist CO. And so prison, my prison experience is what really, confirmed to me that it is a deeper something out here. And then when I got out of prison, I just immediately kept, researching and things like that. Like I got a book list right now. I still got it to this day. I wrote down every single book that I read in prison. And then when I got out, I brought the book. And so not only did I buy every book I ever read, I bought even more books. Like last week, I just spent like $500 on some books. And so I just kept reading and jumping into, books like Illuminati's Greatest Hits and shit like that. And, what really happened in Vietnam. And I just started reading books that people would think is book. Like nobody wants to read a book about World War I. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
I read the book. And as I got to read them, everything that I experienced just started clicking. And I'm like, oh shit, this is what happened. And then my memory, I don't like to, act like I'm better than people, but I developed, the neurons in my brain to where I have like a super memory. And it's like I don't forget nothing. Like I can pull dates out of my mind. I can pull, like, I'm super accurate. And it's like I trained my mind to be able to do this at a certain point in my life by just like playing memory games with myself, or things like that. And I actually trained my brain to have like a higher inventory of memory that I can just recall. And so the way that I'm able to put all this shit together, is not only through me keeping myself spiritually open to, what I feel my spirit wants me to do, or what I feel my ancestors are trying to channel through me, but I incorporate my spirituality with my long-term memory. And so I'm able to see things, and then my brain will immediately say, oh, this is that person, and that person comes from this date, and this happened on this date, and wap. And then I can put it together, fact check it, and confirm it. And then I debate myself on it to see if I can poke any holes in it. And once I can't beat myself in a debate, I know it's true. And so that is how I got to where I am today. And that is how I have, manifested myself on this platform. And that is how we are going to continue to expose, I don't even want to say expose. We finna end, the cabal in the deep state. And as I pass the mic back, I want to say, I know they never thought this shit would happen. I know they never thought that a president would come in, to the office and not be able to be brought. And I know damn sure they never thought that a black man coming out of the most ghettoest inner city you could come out of would be a damn genius and be able to connect with some patriotic white men and tap their ass. And so, here we go.
Here we are. Yeah. Very well said. So when was that was your awakening? How long ago was that?
I got out of prison in 2015, and I actually don't even get off parole till next month.
Okay, well, let's pray for that. Pray for that to get off parole, all that, man.
Oh yeah, we are. That's
what they want.
I just walked down 5 years without no violation. So this last little 30 days ain't nothing.
God bless you, man. That's it too, man. They want you. They want people in the system, black, white. It doesn't matter, Hispanic. They want you in the system. ICE, right. Police. They don't want you to, escalate in society. They put ice on the pole ICE.
Right.
Well, he's hitting into so many different very relevant things there with that story, because, you know, even from my experience and knowing people that have been in the system, quote unquote, or in prison, or having to function within, you know, the craziness once you get charged with something or you plead guilty to something or whatever. But it's really interesting to see how many people come out of the system who understand the deep state and who understand the conspiracy behind it, because inside, you know, people are talking about the truth. People understand what's really going on. And just like you were saying there a minute ago, you could easily tell the difference between people who were hateful or overtly racist and the people that were maybe dumb, or the people that were good people. It didn't matter what color that they were. It was just a matter. And so now as society, we're all trying to see that, you know, we're all trying to see with our new eyes the reality of, you know, they have these people in higher positions have specifically put these people in these other positions that are going to obey them and be a puppet to them. And so then they create mayhem, much like what we've just seen with this whole George Floyd thing. There's mayhem all to be created. And then if anything ever is created, then you've got to co-opt it for your agenda, you know, like you were, you know, saying so brilliantly the other night. It's exactly that. It's order out of chaos. It's very simple. It's division, division, division. And, you know, you being able to see that at a young age is really a blessing for all of us, my friend, because, you know, what you're going to do with this information to help wake so many other people up is, you know, what I'm seeing from my vantage point, your mission here, my friend.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I feel like, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you could talk a little bit louder into the mic, young Pharaoh. It looks like we got a little low audio from some people.
Not a problem. Not a problem. How am I now? How's my volume now?
A little bit better. Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Not a problem. Yeah. That's a fact. And I feel like one of my biggest concerns with me doing what I do is trying to uphold my integrity for who I am, meanwhile trying to destroy the division. Because the way that they have set this up is any black person that says something along the lines of, it's not all white people, it's some white people, they have my people brainwashed to the point where my people will attack me and be like, oh, you're a coon and whoppy wop and all of that crap. And so, and the reason that they do that is because they don't see the deep state. So they just feel like, you know, I've been oppressed all my life by white people, and who is this black guy saying it's not all white people? You know, and then especially it's like the more successful that I become, they'll automatically contribute my success to me selling out if I say things like that. And so one of the most difficult issues that I have is trying to stress to black people that I'm not going nowhere. I know that we're oppressed. I know that we need, you know, our own stuff. I know that we need our own nation. I know that we need to control our own minds, but I don't have to lie to know that. And so one of my biggest things I'm trying to stress to black people is I'm not saying nothing you're not saying. All I'm saying is what you are not saying, because you don't realize it. And so I just want black people to understand, yes, police are very racist. Not all of them, though. Yes, CEOs are very racist. Not all of them, though. Yes, teachers, you know, put our children in special ed on purpose. Yes, the system, you know, shits on us as much as possible. But what y'all are not realizing is these are people who were put in these positions on purpose to do this. If you talk to a white person that is just normal, they are not going to be the same as the person you're mad at. That's all I'm saying. Right. And the reason we're not realizing that is because most of us don't leave our communities, for one, because fear we're going to be pulled over, you know, by a racist police officer. That's true. Or for two, we can't afford it. So we can't afford to travel. And for those of us that can, we're afraid to travel. That's just the honest truth. So we don't really get to experience different people. Now, me personally, my experience with different people was very unfortunate, but I had it. And I've been, you know, a lot of people don't know, I've actually traveled this country for the last 5 years, giving lectures, giving presentations. I do actual events and I pull people out. The main reason that I'm banging on the internet is because we all been in the house. If we wasn't in the house, I would be out in person physically somewhere with a PowerPoint and projector screen with a crowd full of 200 people giving a lecture. Right. So with that being said, I've been able to experience people, and I'm not, you know, like I let white people know, if we're gonna be friends, we're gonna be honest with each other. I'm not gonna pull no punches, and you don't pull no punches. You know what I'm saying? You don't be afraid to be you. I'm not gonna be afraid to be me. But we got to be truthful. So my main thing is with black people is you can't attack everybody because they're saying something that doesn't justify your anger, because you don't even really know why you're angry all the way. The only thing we know is white people enslaved us, and then the police is killing us. But the common denominator that we're all missing is these are Freemasons. The shackles have the Freemason logos on them. If you study Freemason doctrine, white men were not allowed to be slave masters unless they were Freemasons. This is a fact. And so my thing is, hell yeah, it's racism. You better believe it. Hell yeah, it's systematic racism. You better believe it. But there is a small group of people that have infiltrated all communities and put these Freemasons in these positions. Just like it's white Freemasons, there's black Freemasons. So my main thing is, how can black people be mad at me? And I'm not talking about all, because you got some woke black people. So let me say that. Shout out to all of the black people that's been riding with me since day one. But for all of the sheep out there, how can you be mad at me for saying things like Trump is draining the swamp, and then you listen to Jay-Z, and then you can just blatantly ignore that Jay-Z was on Epstein's flight log? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like you want to be mad at somebody that you don't really know why you're mad at, but then you want to trust somebody that you honestly have no reason to trust. And so, my main thing is let's just keep this shit real. I know that some things don't come out of my mouth that offend white people. That's fine though. Some things are going to come out of my mouth that offend black people. My main thing is my allegiance is with the truth, and I'm not loyal to the physical world. I'm loyal to the spiritual world. So if it's true and it's in synchronization with the flower of life, the Fibonacci sequence, doing what's right. And the reason we say do things right is because the universe builds in a mathematical format of right angles, aka 1.618. And whatchamacallit, that's why we say to be righteous, because you're supposed to be spiraling up, or inspired. Your inner spiral is supposed to be going. Yeah, you're supposed to be ascending in a right in a direction of the circle going right. So that's where my loyalty is at. And if somebody is not, going in a direction that the universe literally wants us to go, I'm going to call you out on that. So that's just how I move.
Yeah, Shady and I always say, we're going to report the truth whether we like it or not. It's the truth.
Right. That's exactly right. And again, it's like a perfect analogy, but we're also brainwashed with the confirmation bias. We have this innate catalog of confirmation bias in any person that's a human. No matter what you think or feel, you automatically look for things that agree with you. And then we're kind of seeing this cognitive dissonance of people that can't take anything new past the frontal lobes of their brains, and it creates this sheep mentality of go along with what the most people think. And even me with studying this whole conspiracy thing going back to the early 90s and stuff, you were seeing it so long ago, but really now it's completely different. Now they have weaponized this in the forefront of the media and are pushing it like propaganda every single second of every day from every angle on people, and it's hard to understand.
Exactly.
That's right. Hey guys, real quick, I want to say, if you guys are out in chat, we've got some beautiful mods out here that are taking care of you. If you have any questions for young Pharaoh, go ahead and drop them, and we'll try to get to them as well. We want this to be interactive for you guys as well.
Yes. Yes, most definitely.
Pharaoh, I want to, it's also like a lot of the media, right? Pitting the blacks against the whites. And even if people are not, quote unquote, racist, they're afraid, right? They're like, oh, there's a black person right there. I'm afraid, and right. That black person could be the best person in the world. And you're just afraid to engage because of the brainwashing that we've all had, and it's really sad. I've always judged people for who they are. I don't care what color you are. If you're hurt, you fall down. I don't ask what race you are, what religion you are, what color you like. I help you up, and that's
right.
Go ahead.
That's right. No, not even to cut you off, but I want to say this because I feel like this is what the world needs to understand, right? In order to change your mind, you got to change your philosophy. Period.
Yeah.
And the way that like here's how black and white people, and this is my opinion, even though I believe it to be a fact. This is my opinion. In my opinion, we need to learn how to be the principles of who we are spiritually before, like, for example, You can be a white man or a black man. Keyword is man. So before we deal with race, we need to deal with virtue and integrity. How does a man even, how does a man even operate? So my main thing is with white people, like don't pity me. You know, don't feel like I'm a minority. Deal with me like I'm a grown ass man. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Make me deal with you like an adult, and deal with me like I'm an adult. That's just first before we deal with anything, because I feel like a lot of the times it's hard to talk to white people because they feel so much guilt, which in some ways you definitely should. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I'm not a baby. I'm a grown ass man. These is grown ass women, and vice versa. So we need to be able to talk to each other like that. Hell yeah, some atrocities happened in history. Let's right everybody's. You know, let's give everybody justice and do what we got to do. But we can't keep talking to each other and tiptoeing and being babies. And you know, you got white people that want to say some like, for example, right? I'm not afraid to say, you know, hey, white people, that was wrong. Don't do that. Mm-hmm. I'm not afraid. But you got a lot of white people that want to say some real shit, but then they afraid to offend, you know, black people. And I'm not saying that white people should just start saying offensive shit. So let me be clear on that. But what I'm saying is we grown. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Call that shit out. And when it comes to race relations, what people need to realize is this. And I know this is about to upset a lot of people, but I'm gonna say it as nice as I can say it. We are not all the same race. I'm sorry to say that. It doesn't mean we can't get along. Right. It doesn't mean we can't be intellectually evolved species. But we have to stop that lie. And the reason that's critical is because if you look at the animal kingdom, animals don't hunt each other all day. You can see a lion sitting next to a gazelle. If the lion is not hungry, it's not going to eat the gazelle. Yeah. You see, you know, birds and other animals that will sit on the snout of a crocodile while it just cruises through the swamp. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is because animals understand that they're not the same species, but they're interconnected through God, which is the mind. And so let's just put religion to the side 1 second, right? What is God? God, by my definition, is the highest extent of the mind, which uses elements of matter to express itself. Now, why is this important? We are all watching this live stream right now, and we're operating these bodies. The fact that you can consciously operate this body means that you're not this body. Your body doesn't just get up and walk you out of bed and you be like, hey, what are you doing? You tell this body what to do. So if you're commanding this body, that means you can't be this body. So now when you understand the mind, you understand that the computer and the internet was built off the template of the mind and the brain. There's, correct. For example, we're everybody's on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, right? There's only one Twitter. There's billions of Twitter accounts. So we wouldn't ask people, what Twitter do you believe in? That would be stupid because we know it's only one Twitter. Now your Twitter profile is based off your individual state of psychology. So we know that billions of people are connected to Twitter, but they express themselves differently based upon the way they think. So your mind is God. It's only one mind that echoes electromagnetically all across the universe and connects all sentient beings. But these sentient beings express their minds based upon their genetic construct. So your genes influence your psychology, and your psychology is connected to God, which is the mind. And so when it comes to white and black people, what we got to realize is, hell no, we don't think the same. Hell no, we don't believe in the same things. And that's because we're genetically different. Mm-hmm. But everything from people to plants to water to trees is connected through the mind. And so people don't realize that these Freemasons have made us believe that the plants are dead, the water is dead, the oxygen is dead. You know what I'm saying? The elements, yes. Earth, wind, water. We don't understand that these are conscious, sentient energies, like even atoms. People don't like they call your Adam's apple your Adam's apple, but really it's atoms, ATOM. And it's called your Atom's apple because the frequencies of your voice actually rearrange particles to fit the vibration of your voice.
That's right.
So, right. And so as we speak, we are literally reconstructing reality to fit the module of our mind. And so
that's our power to manifest.
Boom. Exactly. And so what black and white people got to realize is it's okay not to be the same. I don't like the cold. You're never going to see me climb a mountain. My white friends love to snowboard. as much as I want to snowboard, I don't like being that goddamn cold. But,
that's why I'm in Florida, my friend.
Yeah, I've always wanted to ski, but I don't know if I want to be that cold because I'm black.
Right.
I like the heat. My white friends don't like the heat. I take my shirt off and I will love the desert because I'm black. It's okay. So what white and black people got to realize is what they're doing to us is they're reverse engineering what nature told us.
Correct.
Nature told us that there are different species of planet, different species of organisms, but we're connected through the mind. What Freemasons tell us is we're all the same and only thing different is our skin, but we're connected through these deities that nobody has ever met. So it's like, why are animals more peaceful than humans? I'll tell you why. Because animals acknowledge that they're different, but they acknowledge they're interconnected through this omnipresent consciousness. Humans refuse to acknowledge that we're different because we think that we're being racist by loving our individuality. And then since we're denying our individuality, we've come up with some fictitious form of oneness through these deities that don't exist. And so it's time for people to say, listen, I'm black. I'm different than you. I should be in another history. If I was the leader of the world, this is what I would suggest. Black and white people should only interact in social format. As far as science class and history class, it should be separate classes. But as far as socializing, we can do that. If you want to club together, party together, do sports, whatever, we can do that shit together. But as far as educating our people, that's separate. For example, white people have different history. Y'all have Greek history, Nordic history, Roman history, Viking history. That shit ain't got nothing to do with me. So why am I in y'all class learning about y'all shit with y'all when I can be in my class learning about the Dogon tribe in Mali, the Egyptians, the Oman? So it's just like, why can't we separately educate ourselves and then come together for social activities? That is the most healthiest way that we can get along. Animals do it. You don't see birds build a nest in the goddamn ocean just to try to show the fish that they could be the friend of the fish. No, birds live in the tree, fish live in the water, and then they both meet at the goddamn shore. That's how it works. And so it's like we battling with each other because these people have taught us that if you embrace your individuality, then you're being racist. But then by not embracing your individuality, you're being blind. And this is why nobody really knows themselves and nobody really knows history, because everybody is negating history out of fear of feeling like they're being racist. And it's time to cut that shit out. It's time for white people to say, this is all of our accomplishments and we proud of that shit. And it's time for black people to say salute. And it's time for black people to say, this is all of our accomplishments and we proud of that shit. And it's time for white people to say salute. There's nothing wrong with white people loving being white, because the first thing we learn when we a kid is what? Your parents tell you what? If don't nobody love themselves, they can't love you. So
that's right.
Right. So when white people say, I love my blue eyes and my blonde hair, it does not upset me because I know that I can trust you because I love my black melanin skin and my kinky locks. Yeah. So it's nothing fucking wrong with being who you are. And people got to cut that bullshit out and realize that 95% of all literature and education has been output into the world by the Rothschilds. Everything you ever learned was a lie. If you went to Harvard, there was more lies than if you went to a goddamn alternative public school. So I want you to know, yes, you wasted your money at Harvard. Congratulations, you slayed yourself. And you know, it's time for a new world, a better world. And the technology is there, the spirituality is there, the willingness to go there is there. The only thing that is in our way is these global elites. And I'm at the point where I'm not arguing with nobody. I'm not arguing with black people, white people, Spanish people. I'm not arguing with no sheeps and pawns on the board. I am completely focused on the global elites and these corrupt political figures that are literally stagnating our conscious evolution to keep us trapped in the matrix. And I'm going to end here as I pass it back. Coincidentally, that I'm on this show titled In the Matrix. Those of you who've been following me for years, you know, like 4 years ago, I did a breakdown of the Matrix. And I'm going to give that breakdown. I'm going to give that breakdown now. You have Morpheus, Trinity, and Neo. Now, I know a lot of people don't like to read, so I've done it for you. Now, Neo is short for neo-mammalian part of the brain. Morpheus is a Greek word which means sleep. And sleep is symbolic to consciousness because when you dream, your brain is in a delta state. For example, the English language is a occultic language that traps our consciousness. Alpha, beta are the two lowest states of brain frequency. That's why they gave us the alphabet. grammar comes from a French word grimoire. A grimoire is a book to summon demons. So the language that we use actually imprisons our consciousness. But that's another bill that I'll get to in a second. But with that being said, Morpheus is the one who woke up Neo. Morpheus represents the delta state of the brain. You can't access the delta state of your brain until you reach the neo-mammalian state. And the reason that we can't reach the neo-mammalian state is because we're trapped in the reptilian state. So when you learn the way that the brain works, it is built physical, emotional, and then mental, aka reptilian, mammalian, the neo-mammalian. Now, your environment, by definition, are the circumstances which influence you as a living organism. Our environment has not been built to where we can spiritually ascend. Our environment has been built where we constantly have to survive. Now, we are constantly in the fight or flight part of our consciousness, aka reptilian brain, because everything we do is to survive. Even if you go to work and you don't commit crime and you live a law-abiding life, you're still in survival mode, because in the back of your mind, you know, if you lose this job, you lose your lifestyle. So the way that the world is set up so that nobody never leaves the reptilian brain. And so when Neo was woken up to the delta state, aka his higher level of consciousness, he fell in love with a character named Trinity. And Trinity is the union of mind, body, and spirit. Your spirit is energy in motion, aka emotion. So his reptilian, mammalian, and neo-mammalian brain became in sync, and he was able to understand the matrix. Now, when he was able to understand the matrix, he was able to defeat the three agents. And the agents represented money, politics, and religion. So once you come into your higher level of consciousness, you can supersede the fictitious need and dependence of money, politics, and religion. And I just simplified it for you, and I'm gonna leave it right there.
Oh, that was very well said. Very well said. Because, you know, I am in the matrix, but I want to get out. I want out of this matrix. If you notice, I've got the kill boxes outwards. That means I'm not in it. I want to be out of it. So that's right. And I've always loved that movie. In fact, you know, Matrix, where did that idea come from? Using people as a crop to control their mind essentially is what this, you know, is what Q says. In fact, that Q post, you know, people are asking, do you know about Q, Pharaoh?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't really know about Q. I honestly learned about Q as I started going more viral, because I've been viral.
Yeah, like 1 million views, by the way. 1 million views. Congratulations, sir, on the video that you just the video you did what, 3 days ago, 4 days ago?
Yes,
1 million views, guys. Congratulations.
Yes, I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. That you know, and I'm honored to be able to do 1 million views on something positive. You know, it ain't something that's, you negative, know, ignorant. Right. I'm not telling kids to go out there and sell drugs. So for me to be a conscious black man and do 1 million views, you know, that's beautiful. And it shows that the world is just as open to receiving intelligence as we are open to receiving, you know, ignorance. And as far as Q goes, I started to learn about Q as my platform started to go more viral. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I didn't really have a big white following. This is the biggest amount of white people I've had on my platform. My platform has been really black people that are like me, but don't really have a voice. So I've basically been the voice of, you know, conscious black people who don't have a voice. And my first video I ever did 80,000 views. And every video that I've ever posted has been viral. I've just never been this viral. Right. Now, as I started to go more viral, I started to gain white followers, mainly on Twitter. And I started seeing in white people's, you know, bio, you know, like Patriot Q and this, and I was aware of the Patriots, but I wasn't aware of Q. And I started asking myself, like, what the hell is Q? You know what I'm saying? Apparently it must be something good, because, you know, all of these white people that's coming over here, they Q. And it was about probably like 5 days ago, I watched Fall of the Cabal and I watched Outer Shadows. And I was like, oh shit, this is what Q is. And that right there just further confirmed to me that without even knowing who Q was, without even being able to verbally interact with white patriotic Americans, I was on the right goddamn path. And yeah, so that, you know, them documentaries just sealed the deal for me. And I am all in, you know, and I went, like I like to tell people, it's okay to have allies. There's nothing wrong with allies. Countries have allies with, you know, countries make allies out of other countries they barely deal with. So my main thing is, why can't and I said this years ago, and the reason I keep stressing that is because I don't want people to think I'm just saying that because I'm talking to white people. I said this 4 years ago. I said what we're going to have to do if we want to change the world is black people are going to have to check all the toxic black people. White people are going to have to check all the toxic white people. Latino people, Hispanic people, Spanish people, they're going to have to check all of the toxic people of their population. And then the best of us is going to have to rise up and communicate. I said that shit like 4 years ago, and literally that's what's happening. And it's nothing wrong with having allies or lines of communication with, righteous people from other races for emergencies like this. You know what I'm saying? So black people got to realize there's nothing wrong with being able to pick up the phone and call a patriotic white man and say, hey, do you see Hillary Clinton trying to kill us all? Let's get outside. Right. It's nothing wrong with that. And so we have to detox, the way that we've been programmed to think, and the reason it's called programming is because it's literal programming. The neurons in your brain actually reconstruct themselves to influence your brain to release dopamine based upon what you agree with. And so you can act like, for example, they call drugs dope, but it's not called dope because you're addicted to the drug. You're addicted to the release of dopamine that you get when you do the drug. So for anybody that's like addicted to food, addicted to porn, addicted to anything, you realize you're not really addicted to that. You're addicted to the fact that the neurons in your brain have remodulated themselves to influence you to release dopamine if you commit this action. So when people start getting these urges out of nowhere to just do shit, realize you've literally been neurologically hijacked. And so when you watch television telling you what the vision, it is literally the brain, the neurons in your brain. Hear me clear. The neurons in your brain are literally forming patterns to influence you to release dopamine off the actions that you're visualizing. So when you see crime on TV, rape on TV, shit like that, the neurons in your brain are telling you to do that because it's good. And so a lot of the times we don't realize that we hate each other because it feels good. It feels good to say, you a motherfucking N-word, or you a motherfucking, crap, whatever. It feels good, but we don't realize why it feels good. It feels good because we've been neurologically hijacked. And so if you watch that movie Get Out, right, what I want people to realize is, and I did a matter of fact, go watch it. I did a video called, just type in Young Pharaoh Get Out, and I broke that whole movie down. And one of the big points I brought up was this. Those weren't white people that they tell us to not like. Like for example, media tells us, beware of what's the name of them white people that be in the swamp on that TV show, Duck Dynasty? Yeah,
the quote unquote rednecks or what have you.
Right. So they want us to think like, white people just talk like, hey, Billy Bob.
Tell you what.
Yeah. They want us to fear those type of white people. But if you watch Get Out, those wasn't normal white people. Those were neuroscientists. Those were psychologists. Those were professional fucking Freemasons. So what I want people to realize is the people in that movie were not the people that they telling you to fear. You're mad at, and I excuse the word, but I use the words, for to keep it plain. You're mad at Becky. You're mad at Andy. You're mad at the motherfucker at your job. Becky's not a fucking neuroscientist Freemason. She's fucking at Walmart with you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why? It's like you don't really know the target. And so what y'all got to realize is these people are not only evil, they're professionals. It's one thing.
They know what they're doing. Yeah.
Yes. It's one thing to be a wicked, evil person. It's another thing to be a satanic neuroscientist. It's one thing to be, a rapist. It's another thing to be a rapist geneticist or biologist or virologist that can create a fucking deadly disease. And so what y'all got to realize is these people are professional demons, like demons with degrees. These is not regular white people that's just at the fucking Bills game with you and me. These is white people that can wake up in the morning and fuck with the weather if they want to. You know what I'm saying? And they got a couple black people that they've trained to help them in their agenda. And so what y'all got to realize is that is who we're mad at. The people that they tell, the doctors, the lawyers, the people that you've been looking up to all your life, fuck. That is, yes. And I'm saying that. We gotta comb through every level of professionalism in this country every level of law enforcement in this country to see who is and who is not a Freemason. And I believe that Freemasons should be deemed terrorists. That's what that's what I would do. But you know, that's my opinion.
You know, it's interesting.
Well, I really see you're really great at painting the picture, and you know, we look at the overarching reality of this, you know, world that we're living in, and you know, the Matrix, if you want to call it, and then we look back through all the stories throughout history. You know, the further back we go, the crazier it gets. But you know, the idea of the separation of the races and the separation of us being able to speak to one another, all of that division isn't really any different than the division that we're experiencing in our society right now. They've turned it all into this well-oiled machine that just churns out sheep. It literally just churns out the brain that doesn't work, or the consciousness that doesn't ascend. And also within that, they use science and the political theaters and the institutions to completely eradicate the idea that, you know, there is life. You know, it's like, oh, everything is just random. There is no creator. There is no method to this. There's no meaning to yourself, no meaning to your existence, to belittle you into not wanting to stand up for yourself and to stand in your power or to cooperate with other people. And so with the Q, you know, with Q and all the information that's come out through Q, everything is centered around unity and the understanding that they want you divided by religion, they want you divided by race, they want you divided by sex, they want you divided by anything possibly divisible, because if we come together, then their illusion of non-existence becomes less powerful. We're penetrating it, we're deteriorating it, and you're starting to see these people like Nancy Pelosi and these different, quote, demons out there. They're looking different, but they're not looking different because they're changing. They're looking different because the human consciousness is becoming aware of who they really are.
Yeah, let me do this, Pharaoh. I picked out a Q post that I wanted to read with you, for you. It's 3907, but it's been read. It's been posted several times. The entire world is watching. Patriots from around the world are praying for America. We are all bound by a feeling deep inside. A feeling that can't be publicly expressed for fear of ridicule. A feeling that changes the mainstream narrative against which we are told to accept and dare not question. Put simply, that people are being abused by those in power and time is running out. Remember the battles of Lexington and Concord, give me liberty or give me death? Far too long we have been silent and allowed our bands of strength that we once formed to defend freedom and liberty to deteriorate. We became divided. We became weak. We elected traitors to govern us. We allowed evil to prey on us. Those who claimed to represent us gave us false hope, made false promises. The evil and corruption only grew. This is more than party politics. This is about restoring old glory. This is about saving our land and our people from those who wish us harm. This is about preserving our republic. This is about preserving our safety. This is about restoring our strength. This is about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is about protecting our children. This is about saving America. We are all God's children. We are fathers. We are mothers. We are daughters. We are sons. We are brothers. We are sisters. We do not look at race. We do not look at skin color. We are united in these states of America. We are and always will be patriots. We must rise again. We must unite again. We must fight again for God and country. God bless America. Where we go one, we go all. Q.
And I fully understood and digested every word of that. And what I want to say to that is, this is what people got to understand why Black people really got to wake up. And once again, let me give my disclaimer, even though I shouldn't have to do this. I have to do this every time.
Go for it.
I'm not saying this because I'm talking to white people. Okay. We were the pawns. So what I want Black people to realize is this was the plan. When white patriotic Americans rose up to fight, we were going to be ignorantly fighting them because we don't know who to fight. So it would have been white patriots versus the deep state and ignorant ass Black people. And to Black people, it would have been us versus everybody. And so that is the chaos. And so my main thing is I'm trying to get Black people to realize we are late to the wake up. Admit that. We're late. Now a lot of things we do know, but when it comes to political corruption, we're the last on the train. And I'm getting us on the train because if this shit goes down, we need to be on the right side of the fight. And if you're afraid to fight, that's cool. But you can get the fuck out of the way and let us
Absolutely.
and let us who is willing to fight, fight. And so what black people got to realize is they're keeping us ignorantly, especially so that way when white people pop off on corrupt white people, they can just put us right in the way, and we gonna go for broke because we just feel like everybody's racist. And so wake up. You got to wake up. And one thing I wanted to say before I take this into another jurisdiction, because I want to inform people on Anthony Weiner's laptop, because I know y'all didn't ask me, but I feel like it's very important to know about Anthony Weiner's laptop, because a lot of this shit centers around that.
We understand that. Q has pointed us to that, and we do understand a lot about what is on that laptop, and you're more than welcome to talk about any level of that you wish.
Perfect. And one thing I want to bring up about extraterrestrials, they are real. And the reason that I'm bringing that up is, the reason I'm bringing that up is because, you don't really see people that understand extraterrestrials exist. You don't really see them being racist. Most people, and I'm not attacking religious people, but most racist people are religious, and religion does promote racism. I've already exposed all of that. The Bible says that, God chose a certain people over a certain people. The Quran says the same shit. So the Bible does promote, non-equality. I'm sorry, but it does. But when it comes to extraterrestrials, you don't really see people that understand extraterrestrials are real. You don't really see them exercising racist characteristics, because how the fuck you gonna not like a white or a black person, but you are like, it's like if you don't like me because I'm black, what if an alien come down here and they got 4 eyes and 2 arms and 1 arm? You know what I'm saying? You're going to be racist. And so a lot of times when people say, why extraterrestrials don't interact with me specifically, the answer to your question is because you're an asshole. If you don't like white people or black people, why would an alien reveal itself to you for you to not like it? And most of y'all afraid of shit like bees and shit like that. Most of y'all can't even go to the park without going crazy over a bug. So could you imagine if a upper echelon level of intellect, in a humanoid or in a biological form that's not readily perceivable to your consciousness, exposed itself to you and said, hey, I'm from this planet and I want to teach you something? Half y'all will have a fucking heart attack. And so my main thing is, this is why extraterrestrials don't just deal with you, because your state of consciousness is still in infant mode. You're still a baby mentally. And so if we really want to come into interaction with higher levels of intellect, then we have to mature. And we can't even get along as individual species on this planet. So how the fuck do you think we're going to get along with individual species that may have been on this planet for eons or may not even be from this planet? And so
100%.
And so people gotta, long story short, without using the big words, time to grow the fuck up. That's what time it is. It's time to grow the fuck up. And
it really is. And another really interesting thing that Q has said, and early on, in the post that really did set the stage, is you have the right to not know. If you want to choose to not understand what is really going on, feel free to step away at any point and pull yourself out of it, because obviously you're not spiritually ready, or you haven't reached a level that can understand what is happening, or you're too emotional to absorb it. But the truth is, we cannot continue to live in a society where we sit around and we pretend like there's not this huge web of existing slavery in human trafficking that involves every race, involves every color, involves every creed, involves every continent, that they are systematically mining us for human beings to sacrifice. And then what they're doing with the pieces and the parts is just abhorrent. And so, we can't not say those things because people are too sensitive to understand them. And I think that's what Q has been very, very effective at, is bringing the people to the conversation that have the strong spiritual backbone to stand up and call out what is and isn't right, and say these people did this, and then come together in unity, because to make them not be able to walk down the streets, we have to make them feel like they're not invisible anymore. The president keeps talking about the invisible enemy and the hidden scourge, and we know about the invisible hand and the Freemasonry and everything that's in the background. It's all really connected. This enemy that feeds on us is everywhere in our world, and we have to turn our backs to one another and fight with each other against that, not inside the circle fighting.
Yep, and there's a question too. Q, are we alone? Roswell? Q answers, no, highest classification. Consider the vastness of space. Q.
That's right. And you know, I'm not nice like Q. You know, shout out to Q. I'm gonna just tell you right now, hell no, we're not alone. And if you think we alone, you know what I'm saying? Go. Yeah. I mean,
your ego's too big if you think we're alone.
Yeah, you got to be a fucking moron. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just tell you got to be a fucking
just
moron.
saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Q is very politically correct, and I'm not Q. I'm gonna tell you, you're a fucking asshole. If you think for 1 second that all of these planets and all of these galaxies don't contain intelligent life, you gotta be a moron. And so I'm gonna just tell you that right now. But yeah, and before I transfer into Hillary Clinton, another thing I want to say about extraterrestrials is I've been teaching this shit since day one on my channel. And I've been heckled so much by my own community because people think shit is a game, and it's not. And what I want to say to people is the adrenochrome is not just digested by Satanists. The adrenochrome is digested by these entities so that they can continue to withhold a physical form, because everything exists at a certain level of vibration.
Absolutely.
And human beings naturally oscillate a higher frequency that is created from our heart chakras. And so in order for these extraterrestrials to vibratorily dominate us, they have to corrupt our heart chakras so that we don't oscillate that biofield. And then they have to digest us at our peak of fear, which is a child, which is the purest form of human consciousness at the highest level of fear, so that they can stay physically condensed to even interact with us. And so what a lot of people don't know is if we just raise our consciousness, we will vibrate outside the range of attack.
Yes.
It's literally that fucking simple. And so
it is.
Yeah, it's that simple. But nobody wants to listen. And my main thing is when you look at animal mutilations and how clean they are when they're done by extraterrestrials, you have humans, adult and child, that are done the exact same way, just as clean. And so what people got to realize is the slave trade and the organ harvesting is not just for weirdos that are cannibals. That's basic shit.
Right.
This shit is going to extraterrestrials. So I'm gonna give y'all the template, right? Because, you know, for those of you that may not know, I am also a historical scholar in my own right. Studying, and this is why we all got to have a conversation, because white people can give us a piece of history that we was missing, and we can give white people a piece of history that they was missing. Now I'm gonna give white America a piece of history that y'all were missing. We know that Egyptology is full of shit. We know that.
Yes.
Now why is Egyptology created? So that it can distract us from extraterrestrial invasion. Now I'm gonna just give y'all the point. Why does the Bible and why does Egyptology both start 6,000 years ago? Because that's when we were invaded by extraterrestrials. Now I'm gonna break this down to you. When extraterrestrials came to Egypt and they conquered and divided Egypt through genetic engineering and then infiltration of the political system of my ancestors, they created the demotic text. Now, demo means demon. So demotic text literally means demonic text. And then the reptilians inserted themselves as deities. And from the demotic text, they created the term mus, M-S-S-H. Now, M-S-S-H sounds like a snake hiss. Now, when the Greeks later created the vowel system, they implanted the vowel system into demotic text. So the word mus became Messiah. And so they took the thought of many frequencies, aka polytheism, and deleted that. And they demonized it and then gave us monotheism, which is one true God. So they disconnected everybody from their ancestors and then supplanted themselves as the Messiah, aka the Mus. Now, Mus is the frequency used to call these entities. Now, all of these monotheistic religions have one Messiah, and that Messiah allegedly is the place of that Messiah, I should say, is being held by the Pope. And this is why you see the Pope doing this hand signal. You see Lucifer and you see Jesus doing his hand signal, because this hand signal is symbol to apostolic succession and temporal order, which means the Pope is the highest level of authority over all nations until the return of the Messiah. And the Messiah is the Mus. Now, Mus literally, by definition in demonic text, means lizard king. Now, you might say, Pharaoh, where are you going with this? Freemasons worship Lucifer. They sacrifice children to Lucifer. Lucifer is considered what? A lizard. Now, if you study the Illuminati, the head of the Illuminati is called the Pinnacle of Pindar. The Pinnacle of Pindar is the successor of the Lizard King. So the demonic entity that Freemasons worship is a intergalactic lizard. It is a fucking reptilian. So now let me give you the construct. We have been colonized by extraterrestrials. They have genetically engineered people to do their bidding. They have taught sellout humanoids mind control programs and given them technology to do their bidding, which is to keep us at a low level of vibration so that we don't never defeat them. And then they use organ harvesting and child sacrifice as a means to access a chemical called adrenochrome that is produced from our adrenal glands, aka our pineal glands, so that they can keep their form on this planet. Because if they don't keep their form, for one, we'll see who the fuck they are, and for two, we will vibrate outside of them. So what everybody got to realize is this. Fuck your school. Y'all went out there rioting. You should have burnt your fucking school down. You should have burnt your college down. Fuck everything you think you know. And I don't ask people, do they want to read the red pill? I shove it in your fucking mouth. And so with that being said, I'm red pilling the shit out of y'all right now. Actually, I'm gold pilling you. So for everybody that think, and I'm going to end here as I go to Hillary Clinton, right? For all of the religious people out there who don't want to believe me, okay? I've already exposed, Judaism. I've exposed Hebrew Israelites. I've exposed Islam. I've exposed Christianity. I've exposed every religion and interconnected it to extraterrestrials and Freemasonry. So, I'm open to debate. If anybody thinks I'm lying, we can debate. All I ask is go get the best. Don't go get a lame, because when I crush you, I don't want nobody saying, well, he wasn't a scholar. So if anybody believes that any of these religions are valid, I'll debate anybody. Just go get the best person that you can find. So when I crush them, it's official. Now, with that being said, when we talking about this situation that I'm going in on, and we talking about religion, what religious people got to realize is this. Let's just deal with Christianity for example, right? Or any monotheistic religion. Your book tells you what? That your Messiah is going to come from the sky with 100,000 chariots and come for their chosen people. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because religious people will tell you, oh, I don't believe in aliens. That shit sounds crazy. Okay, let's just break down the blueprint of what you believe. You believe a Messiah, aka a lizard king, because that's what it means by definition, is going to come from the sky with 100,000 chariots that you've never seen. So since it's coming from the sky, that means that they can fly. So that means they're flying objects. Now, if you ask somebody, have you ever seen these chariots? They're going to say no. Do you know what they're built or made out of? You're going to say no. If you ask them, did Jesus tell you how to fly this shit? They're going to say no. So that means it's not only so that means it's not only a flying object, it's an unidentified flying object. So that means by decree of your own, belief system and your own religious beliefs, you believe that UFOs are going to come out of the sky led by a lizard. That's what the fuck you believe. So that shows you've been worshiping reptilians this entire time by just dealing with your own belief. And so my thing is, if you are a religious person, you have been tricked. And I'm finna transfer to Hillary Clinton. I want to say this. The way that the occult works is this. You have to give people permission. You have to give entities permission to interact with you.
You have to invite them.
Yes. And so what they do is they trick you into using your free will to do that. So right. if Jesus is Lucifer, Muhammad is Lucifer, Allah is Lucifer, Moses is Lucifer, and then you at home saying shit like the blood of Jesus. You know what I'm saying? You in church eating the flesh and the blood of Jesus. That's a cannibalistic form of ritual. So yep. if you saying, especially black people, right? If we saying Jesus watch over our community, Jesus, the spirit of Jesus take over me. you are literally giving a demon permission to oversee your literal soul and your community. So when we wondering why the communities are so demonic and why people are so depressed, it's because we don't know that the entities that we are calling upon are benevolent, which I believe benevolent is for negative. So benevolent extraterrestrials that we are literally using our free will to give permission to take the world, to take our lives over. And so when I tell people to get rid of religion, it's not because I don't believe in a higher power. It's because the same person, King James, who wrote the book of demonology, was commissioned by Queen Elizabeth to write the fucking Bible. And so you have to put two and two together. Would you let a pedophile write a children's book? No, you would not. So why would you let a fucking Satanist write a religious book? So since we know for a fact Satanists wrote these books, why is it hard for y'all to understand that these books contain subliminal spells for you to invite demons into your fucking life? Why do people think that Freemasons tell you they don't care which religion you are, as long as you are Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, and you believe in the higher power of that faith? That's because they know that the God of all of those religions is fucking Lucifer. What?
And what we realize here too, Pharaoh, is religion. You like the etymology of words, right? So like relegare is religion, and that is to bind and to hold back. It's like if you had a horse way back in the day, you would tie your horse to the pole so it wouldn't go anywhere. So to bind is also spells, and to hold back. And the religion relegare was basically formed by dark occult priests.
That's right.
And that's what we're worshiping today. And that's why, I never, as a kid, felt good at church. But I felt good being connected with my own, spirit, if you will. Totally agree with, people need to realize that these books were written by the hand of man, right? And these people were dark occult priests that understood psychology. It's very amazing, very spot on.
Well, they've also done such an amazing job at disconnecting history. They make you think that the history of Egypt is somehow different than the history of South America, is somehow different than the history of the ancient Tartari or whatever it is. Like, they're like every single thing, they're making it seem like, oh, this was this and this was that, and this didn't have anything to do with that. But you're seeing the same sacrificial religious ideas and beliefs in kind of all of these different avenues. And just like you were saying, that stuff really started to, you really don't see it past about a 6,000 or a 7,000 year span, and everything that's been kind of manipulated in this time frame was manipulated for this build of the matrix, for this build of the harvestable crop, or the worldwide geopolitical, financial, and religious control over all peoples. And that's to some degree is the new world order. And it's not just in the last 100 years. This has been thousands of years in the making to get a perfect system that enslaves all of us by our choice. They had to make us choose to enslave ourselves.
Right. Yep. Exactly. And
it's hard. This is a hard, this is a hard subject for a lot of people to get their head around. I know. But really look at how our world is today. I mean, when I was a kid, let me just tell you my experience. I heard all these people, hey, we need to nuke Iran and, all that. Just turn it to glass. How Christian is that, quote unquote?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I really had a hard time with that.
The word Christian, and I've shown this, the word Christian comes from the French word Christian, which literally means a fool or a stupid person.
Right.
And that comes from because a lot of people don't know that Christians come from Protestants. Protestants come from Protestants, and Protestants were given birth to when Martin Luther protested the Catholic Church. And the Catholic Church, of course, didn't like that. So they created a word that would, be demeaning towards Christians. And so this is why Christians even call themselves Christians. And if anybody knows anything about the history of Queen Elizabeth, you know that the beef with her and her sister Mary, who I believe she had killed, was primarily over which ideology would rule Europe. And so when Queen Elizabeth came into rulership of Europe, she deleted Catholicism and invoked Christianity. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's not to be negative towards Christians. It's to let you know that you are being played. You are a pawn. I don't give a fuck if you're a Christian, Muslim, Jew, a gangbanger, a normal office working white person. I don't give a fuck what your livelihood is. You are a pawn. And this matrix is so big that you can't even fathom the thought that it's so big. I don't give a fuck if you a charity worker. You are a pawn because it shouldn't be poverty or money anyway. So whether you're doing the best you can do in this world within the system or you're doing the worst, you are doing.
Yep. Oh, we lost them there. But guys, this is a very divisive topic. I understand people have a hard time putting their head around it, and it's okay. It's okay. Understand, every one of you have the right to, question everything, folks. And it's healthy to have these discussions. And young Pharaoh actually is pretty spot on a lot of things here, guys. So, Shady.
Yeah, so I'm hoping he can get back in here, but I really hope you guys are enjoying the discussion today, because this is where we're headed in general. We're headed to a larger.
All right, are we back? Y'all can hear me?
Yep, we got you
now, my friend.
We got you.
And I was just saying that we're all in this time together, and we're headed towards this place, and the place that we're headed towards is unity. And if we're going to get to unity, just like what young Pharaoh was saying earlier, we have to be able to identify the enemy. And I've gone over this on the lounge multiple times of how you cannot fight an enemy that you do not agree exists. And until we come to an agreement on what it is that we are all collectively fighting, then we're not, at the moment that we do agree on that, we win the battle. But the battle is to get these, human intelligence machines plugged into the truth and opened and started to spin upward to ascend in the spiral, as opposed to stay stuck in the lineal motion or the line of thought.
Yep.
You've got to use your whole experience to define you as your life, much like you've done so brilliantly, sir, in using your experiences in your life to better yourself and to understand yourself and your history better, instead of make it an anchor that keeps you locked in or keeps you prisoned or keeps you chained. You have used it as a pedestal to step up to, and that's what we're all supposed to do. We're supposed to be stepping into our light and into our consciousness and into our experience individually, so that we can connect with each other.
And God wins.
Yeah,
right.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And as I transfer into Hillary Clinton, for anybody that's religious, just all I want to say is, a part of you honestly knows. I'm gonna just be cut though how I am. A part of you honestly knows that that's bullshit. And the reason that I say that is because of this. If you truly believe that the person you believe in will come to your aid, why do you go to work? Because if you don't go to work, you won't have a place to live. Now, why is that important? If you don't do something, then you are going to get the repercussions of your non-engagement. And so my thing is, for everybody that believes in whatever the fuck you believe in, why does your faith leave when it's critical? For example, when you're hungry, why don't you pray to Jesus to cook you a plate? Because the shit'll never get done. If you're dirty, why don't you pray to Jesus to get in the shower? Because you'll be dirty forever if you don't get your ass in the shower. So it's like, why are you playing with yourself as an adult? You know damn well if you don't step up and do what you got to do for yourself, it's not going to get done. So why are we afraid to take complete control of our lives when subconsciously we know we have to take control of our lives when it gets critical, or we're going to suffer the consequences? So my main thing is, when are adults going to be adults? We tell kids all the time, it's no such thing as the tooth fairy and whoppy wop, because, or it's no such thing as an imaginary friend. But what is your deity? It's basically outside of it being an energetic demon, it's an imaginary friend for grown people. And so, and I want to say this, and I know I'm going to upset a lot of people, but I don't give a damn. As always, here's the thing about religion. When you go to court, they tell you, put your hand on the Bible and, testify, you swear to nothing but the truth, the whole truth, so help you God, blah, 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 blah. And then if you kill somebody and the judge say, why did you do it? If you say God told me to, or the devil told me to, they put you in a crazy house. So here's the thing. The same court that is ruled by the Bible doesn't even allow you to use the Bible as a logical excuse for your own crimes. So if the court of law deems you psychologically incompetent for certain crimes, if you mention it being religiously motivated, if the court says you're crazy for believing that shit, how do you not think you're crazy for believing that shit every day? If I tell somebody right now, I'm gonna slap you. If I tell you right now, you can go get the most strong faith pastor that you can find. Go get him and tell him to close his eyes, and I'm gonna slap him. And let's see if God stopped my hand from slapping him. Nobody will allow me to conduct that experiment because I'm going to slap the shit out of you every time. There is nobody that's going to catch my hand. There is no force that's going to jump down and stop me from slapping you. There's only you and me. And so, it's time for us to be grown-ups, man. And with that being said, I'm going to transition this into Hillary Clinton, and I'm going to kick it to y'all, and we can talk about this laptop.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah, that's some deep conversation, folks. And, just expand your mind, just expand your thinking, challenge yourself. And the truth to know is yours, guys.
That's right. And as we transfer into Anthony Weiner's laptop, and I want to get my disclaimer, right? I'm a black guy. So if white people want to be Christians and Catholics, that's fine. Have fun and turn up. My main thing about religion is for black people, because black people, damn well they beat Christianity into us during slavery. So my main thing is, if anybody should be not religious, monotheistically, it's us. Now, if white people want to believe in Jesus, be my guest. But when it comes to black people, you out of pocket. Don't sit here and play with me and act like you don't know that they beat religion into us during slavery. Let's not play that game. Let's be adults. Let's be mature. And as we talk about Anthony Weiner's laptop,
and by the way, real quick, Pharaoh, the 14th Amendment made us all slaves.
That's right.
People don't realize that either,
They don't want it. They don't care to realize it because they don't understand the evolution of slavery. They don't understand that slavery has went from picking cotton to literally they trying to create transhumans to where they can combine biology, neurology, genetics, and nanotechnology to upgrade your consciousness into literally a cyberspace, a cloud that can control you. And people don't know that the all-seeing eye is AI. I've been saying this for years, though. The only thing that can watch everybody at the same time is a computer. Period. There's no level of law enforcement. There's no human you can sit in front of a monitor and have him watch every goddamn body. The only thing that will be able to watch you is artificial intelligence. So facial recognition and the shit y'all keep playing on these apps and doing the little filters and all that, y'all are just helping prepare for the ushering in of artificially intelligent domination. So shit like Terminator and all of that, y'all don't know that we this close to that. And if you scared to expose people like Hillary Clinton now, you're going to be really afraid when they have a fucking transhuman running up the street killing people. And y'all think this shit is a game. It's not a game. And
they've already created the drone army in the Middle East. They've been working on that for decades of implementing, a mass of people who will unconsciously react to whatever stimuli is put in front of them that triggers them.
Yes, and that is called psychotronic warfare. For those of you who don't know, psycho meaning like psychology and tronic like electronic. And they don't just have psychotronic warfare, psychotronic weapons in the form of that. A lot of these cell phone towers that we think are cell phone towers are not. They're psychotronic towers that emit frequencies that stimulate emotions that you don't naturally have. So a lot of people just get mad out of nowhere. A lot of people just get horny out of nowhere.
Let's even just look at what we've been watching in our country for the last 10 days or so. I mean, leading right into what you're saying, a lot of the people that are running into the stores and stealing stuff out of the stores are not bad people. They're just being set off and triggered by the emotional response to what happened in the moment. And then these instigators are going in and the instigators break the windows. And then it's like, then all of a sudden, like, okay, well, then we justify it. And it isn't even necessarily a reflection on who you are as a person as much as it is a reflection on how well you're being brainwashed and controlled and programmed.
That's right. And I want to say this to white people. I know my job. My job is to wake up Black people, not just in America, but in Africa, and to install the truth into their minds and to militarize my people, not so that we can fight y'all, but so we can join the fucking fight. And so I just want my people to know this right here is our calling, for us to wake up and join this fight. Period. It's not to be arguing with each other and debating with each other over foolishness. It is to join this fight and drain the swamp. And the swamp is literally around the whole goddamn world. But one of the most, one of the strongholds of the swamp is our own government, which has been infiltrated by these Freemasonic entities. And speaking of that, coming to Anthony Weiner's laptop, and before I speak on the laptop, I have to highlight Governor Cuomo, because I want to let Governor Cuomo, we see you. And if nobody else sees you, I definitely see you. Governor Cuomo is definitely in a behind the scenes relationship, not only with Bill Gates, as we've all seen, but also Hillary Clinton. And now, why is this important? When the WikiLeaks came out, remember Chris Cuomo got on the news and lied to us.
Yes.
It told us all that it was illegal to read the WikiLeaks, which that's not true. And my thing is this: for someone to tell us that it's illegal to read the WikiLeaks, why would he not? If he was being an honest person, and let's say, because I know a lot of people might say, well, Pharaoh, he honestly thought that it was illegal, for us to read it. Okay, well, if he honestly thought it was illegal for us to read the WikiLeaks, why didn't he feel just as strongly about the illegal shit that the WikiLeaks showed that they were doing? So, I mean, that's like somebody hacking my phone and you find child porn on my phone, and then somebody says, hey, it's illegal for you to be looking at that. Okay, but damn, ain't it illegal for me to even have that shit? And so my thing is, why are you trying to protect pedophiles, but you don't want to speak on the fact that they're pedophiles? So the Cuomo brothers are definitely deep state, in case you didn't know. And this is why he failed and refused to call in the National Guard, because they allowed Antifa and other deep state members to attempt to cause anarchy in New York State. But now, why is Cuomo important? Cuomo is the governor of the state, once again, New York State, where New York State Congressman Anthony Weiner got caught not only sexting a 15-year-old girl, but he had 1.3 million items on his laptop, along with 650,000 emails. So that's over 2 million items of incriminating evidence on this man's laptop. Now, this is important because the laptop was first investigated by the NYPD. Now, the shit that was on this laptop, and I'll show the laptop. If you go to my other YouTube channel, Unpolitically Correct, anybody that's watching this, I'll show John Podesta. I gotta say allegedly, because I don't want y'all to get in trouble on YouTube, so I'm gonna say allegedly, but we know what it is. I've showed John Podesta allegedly torturing that boy in the shower, and I've showed people who watched Hillary Clinton's video describe it in detail of how she tortured that kid, and I interconnected it with Hollywood and how the painting in Ellen DeGeneres' house is a portrait of the little girl that Hillary Clinton tortured. So I've tied all this shit in factually, and I'm always open to a debate. Anybody that wants to debate, I'll crack your head with facts. Now, with that being said, coming back to the laptop, the reason that the NYPD is important because they seen it before the FBI. And 9 out of the 12 NYPD officers magically suicided themselves or were murdered mysteriously. Now, the reason that this is not a coincidence is because there's something that I've also shown called the Clinton Blood Trail, where if you look up this document, it shows over 90 people, including FBI agents, who investigate Hillary Clinton magically always commit suicide. And I don't see how somebody can.
The 90s.
Yeah, and I don't see how people can shoot themselves in the back of the head and it's a suicide. I've seen people, like on movies, put the gun in their mouth. Nobody shoots themselves in the back of the goddamn head. Now, with that being said, the fact that these police officers who viewed this laptop all mysteriously died, should be a flag to people. But apparently that wasn't flag enough. So what these police officers did was they made a copy of the evidence, and they told the FBI, y'all better prosecute this or we're going public. So now this leads to conspiracy of murder, because now it gives a motive for their death. What is the motive? if the FBI did not reveal this shit, that they was going to do it. Now they can't reveal it because they're fucking dead. And so when the FBI got this laptop, the FBI agency in New York City informed McCabe and Comey about the laptop. McCabe and Comey swept the shit under the rug. And James Comey, who Donald Trump called a dirty cop, now y'all know why they called him a dirty cop. He publicly got on the news and told us that it wasn't shit on that laptop that we know was on that laptop. And then the FBI agent in New York City went outside his chain of command and contacted another agency and told them, hey, we forwarded this laptop to Comey and we're not hearing nothing back. So they put pressure on Comey to investigate that laptop. James Comey got warrants to search the section of that laptop where Hillary Clinton's incriminating evidence was located. Now, what James Comey did was he wrote a letter to Congress and then falsely reconfirmed that his findings did not change, when that's not true. They did change. And this has been confirmed not only by people who investigated the laptop, but by the lawyer of General Flynn, who herself said there's more than enough evidence on that laptop to prosecute Hillary Clinton. And there's some sick shit on that laptop. The shit on that laptop is so sick that hardened investigators and law enforcement professionals had to go fucking seek therapy. Now, if you want to know what's on the laptop, I'm going to just tell you. I know you probably won't believe it, but too bad. Hillary Clinton is torturing and abusing children. She took a 10-year-old girl, tied her to a tree, cut the little girl's face off, put the little girl face on, and then she cut the little girl's stomach open and put her intestines out while the little girl was still alive. And they did that to torture her for adrenochrome. And she's on the video allegedly doing this along with Huma Abedin, who is the wife of Anthony Weiner. So what I want y'all to realize is Anthony Weiner's wife did not know that he was sexting girls. She knows because they all are fucking satanic pedophiles. And this is not conspiracy. This is all facts. And if it's not facts, tell these motherfuckers to produce the laptop publicly. Tell them to let us see what's on the laptop. There was a folder on the laptop called Life Insurance, which contained incriminating videos, not just of Hillary Clinton, but of other political figures. Some of them I believe to be the Cuomo brothers. And Anthony Weiner had this folder so that if he ever got caught doing the shit that he does, he could get out of it by blackmailing other political figures or law enforcement agents. So the way that this infiltration has went down is they have either willingly or forcefully coerced law enforcement as well as celebrities in the entertainment industry to join in the cabal. And if you don't do what they want you to do, then they release incriminating blackmail footage of you, or they use the media to destroy you like they did Bill Cosby. And so I don't understand why people don't understand how this shit works. And a lot of the times people are saying, why are law enforcement not prosecuting? Because most law enforcement is either deep state or they did some shit that they knew they shouldn't have did out of pressure, and they have some incriminating shit on them. So the FBI can't just go, or at the time, couldn't just go arrest Hillary Clinton because they were corrupt. And if you weren't corrupt, then you probably got forced to do some shit that, you know, if you investigate her, magically a pedophile tape of you will start circulating the internet. So what people got to realize is this has literally become an issue that the citizens have to get involved in, because law enforcement has been blackmailed, or they're either the KKK Freemasons themselves from, and they've been put in these positions to where they can't prosecute. And for the forms of law enforcement, local, state, and federal, who can get involved, they simply just don't fucking know. And so you're either ignorant, or you're either fearfully complacent, or you're all the way one of the people we're talking about. Those are the only three. The fourth entity at hand is people like me and, you know, Q and these patriotic white Americans, etc. That's the only, you know, them the only four options. Either you're deep state, you're sheep state, or you're blackmailed. That's it. That's it. There's no other option. The fourth option is you're fucking woke. That's it. And so, you know, the contents of the Anthony Weiner's laptop is strong. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because now y'all see why they set up General Flynn, because General Flynn knew this shit. General Flynn was back in Pizzagate. He was back in everything. So now y'all see why they tried to get Flynn out of the picture, and why they tried to falsely impeach Trump. They created the Russia hoax, and, you know, they doing all of this shit, and none of that shit worked. So one of the last tricks is to turn the American public, specifically black people, against Trump. And they're using black entertainers, to do this. And they got your favorite pedophile rappers talking shit about Trump. They got people like DL Sellout, pedophile Hughley. I'm gonna say allegedly, for YouTube purposes, but we know what it is. They got motherfuckers like Will Smith, The Rock, your favorite celebrities who you would never think would do some shit like this, influencing you to not like Donald Trump because Donald Trump is going to expose that they're pedophiles. And so for those of you who don't know, I did a video like almost 2 months ago, I believe, where I showed how from 2017 till today, there's been over 150,000 sealed indictments. Ellen DeGeneres is at home on a fucking ankle monitor. Oprah Winfrey is at home on an ankle monitor. So these people are pedophiles and they blackmail each other into silence. And the CIA and Hollywood go hand in hand. The media and the CIA go hand in hand. And the reason that the CIA is important is because Hillary Clinton has had the CIA in her back pocket all this time, along with Bill Gates. And so I'm gonna just give y'all the chain of command that I've came up with. Maybe somebody else came up with another one. I'm gonna give you mine. It goes these reptilian entities at the top who, in exchange for technology and demonic intelligence, need adrenochrome. So you have these cabal motherfuckers that supply the adrenochrome to these extraterrestrial entities. These cabal motherfuckers at the top are the Freemasonic entities, these royal families, all this shit. Underneath them, you got motherfuckers like Bill Gates, George Soros, this, that, and the third. Bill Gates helps to supply the children because he has access to all these third world children. Jeffrey Epstein helps to supply the locations to molest these children. Jeffrey Epstein's mansion was in New York State. Coincidence? No. Why? Because Anthony Weiner was in New York State. His laptop was in New York State. Governor Deep State Cuomo is the head of New York State. So New York State, just like California, was a pedophile fucking hub. And so when you come down the chain of command, why is Bill Gates important? Bill Gates was the second largest funder of the World Health Organization. On the leadership council of Bill Gates is the leaders of the FDA, the CDC, the WHO, and all of these important entities. Why else is Bill Gates important? Bill Gates has not only been in China since 2007, he has not only been praised by China, by the leader of the fucking Chinese Communist Party, but Bill Gates has a relationship with Anthony Fauci. Now you might say, why is Anthony Fauci important? Anthony Fauci is not only on the leadership council of Bill Gates. Anthony Fauci has not only been in the White House for every corrupt president we've ever had. Anthony Fauci helps to sell out America to China through the medical and human healthcare system. So if you don't know, 90% of vaccines come from China. 90% of our antibiotics come from China. 90% of our medical tools, from surgical tools and equipment, come from China. So China and these deep state elites who supply children to these demonic entities have been working through our country, through the leaders and political figures of our country. So it goes extraterrestrial entities, royal families, heads of the cabal. Underneath them, the people in the field are George Soros, Bill Gates, Anthony Fauci, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, these governors and these mayors, and then local law enforcement. I have just and then to keep us distracted from what all of these people in this hierarchy are doing, they have employed the media and the entertainment industry. The word entertain literally means to hold and confine. Mint means your mentality. Entertainment means to hold and confine your mentality. That is the point of the fucking entertainment industry. And you're welcome. I just gave you the entire layout of everybody that we need to go get, and I don't understand what we're waiting on.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a couple of different things that are going on, but the overarching reality is no one really understands how well they're connected and how well they're protected. Whenever we go looking into all these systems, like just say, for instance, the United States Secret Service that's currently protecting her and protecting them, what we're sort of seeing are these multiple factions within the government that are not coordinating, but they're also, they're having niceties back and forth. So, with the Secret Service, we trace that back. The first day that started was the day that Lincoln was shot. So, it's like it's this whole mechanism of swamp. And, what we see in as the Q drops and all the stuff that's been coming out is this building to a call for action by the people, as opposed to Donald Trump going in with his guys and rounding everybody up and sticking them in Guantanamo Bay. We need the people to stand up in a more than 50% voice saying this is criminal, this is corrupt. We have to stop it. And when Q says they won't be able to walk down the streets after this is over, it's almost saying to us that what we're doing is we want them torn apart in the streets, in the public discourse, not physically, but in the public discourse of opinion. And so now we see this whole Corona thing, the impeachment thing, and now this the thing that's going on now. Everything divide, and at every juncture, no truth is coming out of the mouths of the Mockingbird media. Nothing is relevant. Everything is spun, and the more people that get back to center, kind of like what you're trying to do, you're trying to reset people back to center, like get out of all of your, your mindsets or your compartmentalized thought forms about other people. Forget about thinking about what other people think. Start realizing to be strong in what you think and discern from your own position of individuality as opposed to the herd group think mentality. Then that will kind of course correct in the upcoming, the upcoming future. But again, how long does something like this take? We don't know. We're watching it happen, and we're also watching them be subverted. In other words, Q is putting out information that's making them make mistakes. Like he's exposing things, like whenever he's dropping pictures of John Kerry in Iran meeting with the foreign leaders of Iran. That was a random picture that I'm kind of pretty sure that John Kerry didn't know was taken, but all of a sudden it's on QMap and we're passing it around the whole world to everybody to share in real time. And then all of a sudden John Kerry's exposed. And so that's a little bit like how this is all playing out. And we're kind of on the precipice right now with General Michael Flynn because of the shenanigans going on with Judge Sullivan and the way that they're not releasing this case. We kind of think that this is a hinge moment to get this case closed so that the DOJ can remove this final segment of swamp that, is still kind of embedded in the system.
Right. And I totally agree. And my goal here is to help drain this swamp, because whether we want to admit it or not, we help create this swamp. So I don't feel
that's a huge point right there. And I try to say this over and over again, but I don't want to make it a small point. You are guilty of everything you've ever done. We all did it. Our complacency, our invitations are guilt, and we have to face that, and we have to be responsible for that.
Yes. Yeah. And that's called being a grown-up.
Right.
That's exactly right.
And, by consent, by direct consent or implied consent, we made this we allowed this to happen. All of us, every single one of us.
Period. Sadly. And so we must drain the swamp. And my main thing, my main message is we all have different, let's say we all have different forms of consciousness that guide us. And me being tapped into, my personal spirit guides and the personal, beings that want me to go the way I'm going, I feel I know which way it wants for Black people to go. And I want all Black people to know, I know that some of y'all will willfully remain ignorant and you won't follow me. And that's fine. I ask that you don't follow me because I don't want to fucking deal with you. But with that being said, for those of us that know and want to come back into the ancient understanding we had before we were spiritually invaded, that is my plan after all of this. But right now, because a lot of people be like, why don't we run to Africa? First of all, we was everywhere. We wasn't just in Africa. But I feel like even for people who do believe we should run to Africa, what kind of pussy are you? The fight ain't in Africa. The fight is over here. We ain't running from the fight. We running to this motherfucker. And so my thing is, we all help to create this swamp, whether we want to admit that or not. So we're going to drain this swamp. And then after we drain this swamp, I believe white people should create the most essential system for themselves, and Black people should create the most essential system for themselves. And we should interact with each other in the ways that are healthy, and we should not interact with each other in the ways that are not healthy. And I feel like a lot of damage has been done historically. For example, right? We can't be in the same history class for certain subjects. We just can't. Because when I get talking about slavery, it's going to offend somebody. Because I'm not going to pull no punches. And then for one, white people don't want to hear that shit all day. Don't nobody want to hear that you was raping motherfuckers. Nobody want to hear that. And then it's like, if white people get to talking about crack, do I want to sit there and hear about how I was a fucking crackhead all day? Nobody want to hear about that shit. And so I feel like the parts of ourselves that we got to detox, we have to separate so we can do that shit privately and in a healthy manner. So white people deal with the shit that they did. Black people, we deal with the shit that we did. We cultivate ourselves historically and scientifically, and then we come together for social matters. So I feel like if this country is to a point where the whole country don't want to change to actually honestly accommodate all of its citizens, that's fine. Then Black people, we need to start our own country and do for us. But right now, that is the conversation separately and secondarily that we need to have. And if not secondarily, it can be simultaneously. But the fucking main conversation is draining this swamp, because no matter what you believe, I don't care if you think you're going to go create a utopia for people that play 2K. The deep state will find you and they will invade you. Yeah, well, so if you don't get rid of these motherfuckers, if you don't get rid of these motherfuckers, it ain't no peace on earth. All that even people will be talking about, I'm gonna go off the grid. How stupid do you think?
They'll find you, man. You're glowing. You've already inhaled all those chemtrails with the barium, man. You're glowing.
Yeah.
Hey, young Pharaoh, I want to take a quick break real quick with the Healing Not Hatred video that we talked about kind of in the beginning. And then I want to get your feeling on, the president of the United States that we have currently. And we'll come back in about 3 minutes. Is that cool? Is that good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me go ahead and go to Zoom here. I can't see the screen here real quick. Hang on 1 second. Zoom here. And I'm going to share the video so everybody can see it here on our side. Let me go. Where's my... There it is. All right. So sharing sound so you guys can hear it. We'll be back in 3 minutes. I want to play this, guys, for you. Let me go to OBS, make sure we can see it. And we'll be right back. This is Healing, Not Hatred.
I understand the pain that people are feeling. The death of George Floyd on the streets of Minneapolis was a grave tragedy. It should never have happened. It has filled Americans all over the country with horror, anger, and grief. We support the right of peaceful protesters, and we hear their pleas. The voices of law-abiding citizens must be heard, and heard very loudly. We will stand with the family of George Floyd, with the peaceful protesters, and with every law-abiding citizen who wants decency, civility, safety, and security. But what we are now seeing on the streets of our cities has nothing to do with justice or with peace. The memory of George Floyd is being dishonored by rioters, looters, and anarchists. The violence and vandalism is being led by Antifa and other radical left-wing groups who are terrorizing the innocent, destroying jobs.
Did this for no reason.
The mobs are devastating the life's work of good people and destroying their dreams.
We worked so hard to get here. So hard.
It harms those who have the least. We cannot and must not allow a small group of criminals and vandals to wreck our cities and lay waste to our communities. We must defend the rights of every citizen to live without violence, prejudice, or fear. Healing, not hatred, justice, not chaos, are the mission at hand. I stand before you as a friend and ally to every American seeking justice and peace. No one is more upset than fellow law enforcement officers by the small handful who fail to abide by their oath to serve and protect. We support the overwhelming majority of police officers who are incredible in every way and devoted public servants. We must all work together as a society to expand opportunity and to create a future of greater dignity and promise for all of our people. Every citizen in every community has the right to be safe in their workplace, safe in their homes, and safe in our city streets. We are working toward a more just society But that means building up, not tearing down. Joining hands, not hurling fists. Standing in solidarity, not surrendering to hostility. This is the sacred right of all Americans that I am totally determined to defend and will defend.
And just to frame this as well, this video basically got deleted on Twitter, by the way. Let me go back to our display capture so we can see young Pharaoh. So, Pharaoh, what are your thoughts on that video right there? That's been deleted. The deep state does not want people to see this.
I feel like, you know, they don't really want people to know that Donald Trump knows. And when I say knows, he knows the pain of not just white communities, but black communities that were affected by this false flag riot. And that's deep, because this is what I want people to understand. Knowing and understanding is two different things. And I'm not knocking Donald Trump at all. That's not what I'm about to do. So I don't want people to think I'm about to do that. I'm just giving y'all a breakdown. If I'm walking up the street and I see somebody crying, I know that they're crying. But to understand their pain is different. Now I'm going to tell y'all what Donald Trump knows. Donald Trump knows the same shit that any decent white person knows, that black people are affected the most and the worst in this country by systematic shit. And now we know that the systematic shit is created by the cabal. But what white people don't understand is this, right? Like, for example, when I say we need to separate, okay, so we can come together, you know, for social activity, but not for scientific or historical, you know, curriculums. Here's where I'm going with this. Understand. What white people got to understand is you love this country, which is nothing wrong with that. But what you love is built off of what we hate, which is the murder and the slaughter of our ancestors. So how do we come to an agreement to not beef with each other? Because in order for me to be great, I have to destroy what you love. But in order for you to keep what you love, you have to negate me destroying what you love. So how do we both come back to what we love without war? Simple. We leave each other the fuck alone outside of having fun. If we're not clubbing together, partying together, or playing sports, we don't need to be system battling for equality, because it's two different realms. And what I'm going to say is going to lead up all the way up to Donald Trump. Let's just go through what black people went through. When the black Indians, because for those of you who don't know, Indians come from the word indigo, which means blue black, because when the Spaniards first came over here, they seen black people, but they called them indigos. So yes, the word Indian does mean black. Now, why is this important? Some Indians that you see on them reservations is not us. Those are $5 Indians. Those are white people and Hispanic people that falsely, during the Dow's Rolls Commission, signed the paper to inherit government aid that should be administered to us. So now let's just go back to history. When the Indian reservations were set up, they were set up because 100 million black people were slaughtered by white people for this land. That's facts. Now, what happened was, for the little bit of black Indians that were fighting with white people, they came to an agreement and they said, listen, we will let y'all keep the land that y'all already took if y'all allow us to keep the little bit of land that we got. And the United States government said, okay, cool. And they created Indian reservations. And so they said, okay, for all of the original black Indians of this land, y'all are going to sign these Dow's rolls at this Dow's commission so that we can acknowledge y'all and leave y'all land alone. Now, what they did was they finessed us. They never let us sign it. They let other white people sign it. And so all of these white people and these Spanish people that are acting like Native Americans are not real Native Americans. They're us. So all of the money and the subsidies and the fucking support they've been getting really should have been going to us. So the reason our communities are fucked up is because the money we should be getting is going to fake ass Indians that are acting like they us. So now, not only were we finessed out of our land, we were finessed out of the aid and support that we should have got for our land being stolen. So not only do we need reparations for slavery, we need reparations for that. But pause, putting that on pause. Boom. After our land was stolen and we were finessed out of aid for our land, a country was built on our land. Then the country that was built on our land was infiltrated by evil members of the people that built the damn country. And now here we are again, having to fight on behalf of people who are advancing their people and not paying attention to how we are being stagnated since damn near 600, since goddamn the British and the Spaniards came over here even before England. So when the 13 colonies was created, what people don't realize is America was already being colonized by the Dutch, the French, the Spaniards, and the British. The Europeans were the last to get over here. So that's something that nobody wants to talk about. Now let's bring this shit up to today. And the reason that I say Donald Trump is because everybody seen that video of Donald Trump when he was telling that official, I seen those Indians don't look like Indians, because Donald Trump knows that black people are the real fucking Indians. Now let's apply everything I just said to that to what I take out of that. Donald Trump knows that black people have been getting fucked over and we've been getting the shitty end of the stick forever. And now he knows that not only is that true, it's being used to implement the New World agenda by the deep state. And so now, why is this important? What I'm taking from that is this. Donald Trump knows what we lost, but he doesn't understand it because he's not black. He's not us. So what white people got to understand is when y'all take a L, I could never truly understand how you feel because I'm not white. So we want the same understanding. So my main thing is white people have caused all of this shit in our lives that we are going through. Now, I know that it's not all white people, but yet it's white people. We did not murder ourselves. We did not create a country that is trying to murder us and everybody in the damn country. So everything that we have been going through since we met white people is y'all fault. And now white people, such as you who are righteous, need my help to help you against you. And so what I'm saying to white people is the righteousness in my spirit as well will help you. But once we are done, we need to be left the fuck alone so that we can advance ourselves just like everybody else. Everybody else got technology. Everybody else got militaries. Everybody else got net. We don't have shit because we have been invaded by ETs. We've been invaded by Arabs. We've been invaded by white people. We've been invaded by Chinese people. They've set up these civilizations on our backs, and then the civilizations are being used against them. And now they need our help to help them against themselves when they started all of the shit. So my main thing is let's just hit one giant pause button on the world. Pause. Fuck everybody's agenda. Fuck everybody's country. Fuck that. Let's hit pause. Everything that's happening is happening on our backs. And then we're being asked to help stop some shit that is the reason that we don't have shit. But as a righteous person, I will help you drain your swamp because I know it's not all white people. But what I want white people to realize is you can have all of your customs and traditions. I don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to take those away. What I want white people to realize is let us have ours. We tired of going to school learning about Christopher Columbus. We're tired of learning about the evolution theory. We're tired of learning about bullshit after bullshit after bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. So what we're saying is if you're tired of y'all own, white people apparently are tired of y'all own bullshit because that's how we got here. So imagine how tired of y'all shit we are after thousands of years. Y'all only been dealing with y'all own bullshit for about 300 years in this country. We've been dealing with y'all bullshit for thousands of years. And so what I'm saying to white people is this. We're going to help y'all drain this swamp. And then when we're done, we need our own shit. So if we need our own shit, it's really no negotiating. We're not trying to go to war with y'all. We're not trying to fight with y'all. To the toxic ass black people who don't want to listen, fuck them. I don't give a fuck what y'all do with their ass. Lock their ass up. I don't give a fuck. Have your way. But to people like me that knows the universal truth of damn near everything, leave us the fuck alone if it's not about having fun. If y'all not trying to party, you know what I'm saying? You can come to a hip hop concert and then we'll come to a country concert. We can balance it out. If you ain't trying to box or do UFC or do sports, we don't need to be in the same class. We don't need to be in the same history room. We don't need to be, having white police in our communities to where this shit can happen again. So we need integration/segregation where we can deal with each other as loving human beings. We can do that. When it comes to knowledge yourself, everybody needs to be responsible for themselves. If I don't feel comfortable teaching white people, and that's just because I'm not white, I don't feel comfortable. I feel like it's white people's responsibility to make sure that they are in their most advanced state. So why would I not allow them to do? If I was the president of this country I would let white people be in charge of all their own shit, but like they already are. But on the flip side, I would let black people be in charge of their own shit. I would let Spanish people be in charge of their own shit. It's no reason why. It's no reason why I would force white people to watch me lecture about Malcolm X all day. Why the fuck would I do that? Y'all don't want to hear that shit. Let's just be honest. Let's just be wrong. You don't want to hear that all day. You know how I know? Because I don't want to fucking hear about Dwight Eisenhower all day. So my main thing is let each person be great. It's nothing wrong. It's nothing to fear. Let white people talk about the glories of their shit. All I'm saying is I want to talk about the glories of my shit too. And we can come outside of them realms and deal with each other. Nobody's saying we can't deal with each other. All I'm saying is we cannot police each other, apparently. We cannot educate each other, apparently. And we cannot scientifically describe each other because we're not the same species. A monkey cannot be the universal science teacher of the jungle because he can't explain to a hippo what a hippo is. He can't explain to a worm what a worm is. The monkey should be responsible for the monkeys. The hippos should be responsible for the hippos. It's not racism. It's called maturity and responsibility. Anything other than that opens the door for where we are now, which is what? Chaos. And from chaos, the Luciferians bring in order. So what I got out of that tape from Donald Trump is that Donald Trump knows he just doesn't understand fully because he's not black. And I want black people to realize this. He means well. He knows well. But y'all are trying to punish and demonize Donald Trump unfairly because it's impossible for Donald Trump to be the way you want him to be because he's not fucking black. If I was the president, white people would not like me all the way because I'm not white. I don't eat what y'all eat. I don't dress how y'all dress. I don't watch the shit y'all watch. So it's not I don't like y'all. It's just I'm not you. And people got to realize that. Let everybody do what they want to do. As long as we're not just like, for example, if black people, not if, when we get our own shit, if we start causing chaos, I expect white people to invade us and shut it down. You know why? Because somebody got to stop fucking chaos. It's not about racism. If white people find out we contaminate in the oceans and shit like that, I expect them to infiltrate and bust our ass. So my main thing is let everybody do them and we all come together to make sure nobody's doing evil. Outside of having fun and making sure nobody's doing evil, we should be minding our business. So the perfect example I like to give is Avengers. Captain America is great because he's white and he's from America. Black Panther is great because he's black and he's from Africa. Had they not had their own two different jurisdictions, they would have never been able to come together. So my main thing is black people, we need to be going down the Wakanda road. White people, y'all need to be going down the Captain America road. When we want to fuck with each other and kick it with each other, we can do that. Outside of that, we need to be trying to preserve our own ways of life. It's not about racism. It's about preservation of self. White people cannot teach me what my ancestors want me to know because they're not me. I cannot teach white people what their ancestors want them to know because I'm not you. It's not about I don't like you. It's just I'm not even spiritually connected to where you come from. I could never have a premonition and your ancestors come talk to me in a dream. They're checking for you. They're not checking for me. So my ancestors is checking for me. They're not checking for you. And I can't connect with my ancestors if I'm constantly being taught about yours. And so my main thing is what we need to do is we need to grow the fuck up and be adults and say it's okay that we're different. There's nothing wrong with that. We all love shit. I like Kobe Calais. Shit, I'm not gonna lie to you. My favorite rock band is Korn. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. My favorite wrestler was Stone Cold. He's white. So we all got parts of each other's culture, I should say, that we like. But that doesn't mean we should try to dominate the other person's culture. I wouldn't come into the studio with Kobe Calais and say, hey, Kobe Calais, you should put some fucking 808 bass in this song. No, that's not what Kobe Calais is about. I wouldn't go to Korn and say, Korn, you should do a fucking song with 50 Cent. No, we have to respect each other's individuality. And everybody's acting like they're doing that, but nobody's really doing that. We're acting like we're respecting each other's individuality, but then we're trying to consume each other with each other's personal ideology. And so my main thing is, I don't really care. I'm gonna warn you about religion because you should know that it's a book to invite demons in your life. Now, if you don't believe me, that's fine. Celebrate Christmas. Do all the shit you want to do. All I'm saying is that's not our way. That's not what our ancestors meant for us. And we've been jumped and we've been brutalized for 6,000 years straight. Black people have not had a break. Extraterrestrials invaded Egypt. Arabs came behind them, raped so many black people, they created 250,000 children. Arabs then took them 250,000 children and used them as a slave army to invade Africa. And when people say blacks sold blacks into slavery, that's the part of the story they're not telling. Blacks didn't sell blacks into slavery. Arabs raped so many black women, they created 250,000 slave-bred children and militarized them and used them to enslave other blacks. And then after that, Arabs taught white people how to do it. So Arabs introduced Europeans, British, Dutchmen, and Frenchmen into the slave trade. And if anybody don't believe that, the Pope wrote a papal bull telling white people not to even get involved in the slave trade. And this is why Europe started beefing with itself. So Arabs started the African slave trade. There has been no slavery that has been more brutal to Africans than the Arab slave trade. I know y'all like to think that the slavery over here was so bad. This shit was nothing compared to what Arabs did to us. And they're still doing it in the Middle East, as you can see. So we got invaded by extraterrestrials. We got invaded by Arabs. We got invaded by all these different nations of white people. Then we got invaded then we got attacked by Mexicans and shit like that. We had to start these Bloods and Crip gangs. And we just been under fucking attack for thousands of years. And all I'm saying is, damn, we need a break. We got invaded. We've been attacked. We had a country built on us. Africa don't know what to do because their political leaders is being bought out by Bill Gates. So we have been under attack for 6,000 years. And all I'm saying is we need a motherfucking break. And we know who to fight. And so now that we know who to fight, we're going to help y'all fight them. And once we're done, we just asking y'all to peacefully allow us to rebuild our goddamn selves. We don't want no beef with white America. I like to fight. I go to the gym with white people all the time. I don't want to fight my white friends, but my white friends got to understand I have an obligation to raise up my people. And so that's all I'm saying. Once we drain this swamp, everybody get what they want. What do black people want? We want to be left the fuck alone. That's simple. We don't want no artificial shit to take over the world. We just want to be left the fuck alone.
True. That's it. True freedom, and not the freedom that they want it the freedom as, right? The true freedom. You have the right to do what you want to do as long as you're not hurting nobody. And that's really the unity that we are looking at right now. You know,
yes, sir.
And you know, we got the nanny state telling us what to do, what to say, what to wear, the TV. You know, we are living in a culture. And,
right.
And the culture doesn't fit everybody because it wants to force everybody into one hole, like a square peg.
Just like whenever you go to the hospital or to a doctor, he wants to look at every single person and diagnose the exact same of any other person that's been through to diagnose. They want these cookie cutter, non-life interactive or non-consciousness interactive sentient beings. That, you know, it's like there's 4 pounds of flour and 3 cups of sugar and a can of butter, and it all makes sense every single time. And the world does not function like that.
That's right. You know, what's funny is my grandparents grew up in an Irish neighborhood, and at that time, the Irish was at the bottom of the bottom, and they were Norwegian. Could you imagine?
Right. Wow.
You know?
Right.
You know, he fought every day, man. He fought for his life every day. And, you know, it's not just about, it's this culture, guys. They've got us thinking in a way that is not the way that we live. You know, if young Pharaoh wants to learn about this or do that it's his choice as long as he's not hurting nobody, you know. Right. And that's what people don't understand. Go ahead. I'm
gonna let everybody know, because I'm pretty sure I speak for all people. We ain't trying to do shit but some yoga, some weed, some DMT, and some meditation, and have some fun from time to time. We ain't trying. The people in the world, like you said, they got us thinking that everybody's diabolical. And ain't nobody, man, we ain't, the average person in the world is trying to become stronger physically or mentally or spiritually. That's it. If they just left people alone, only thing people would be doing is either smoking some weed or some DMT, meditating, doing some yoga, and that's it. So, like you said, they got the way they got it set up is they compressing our consciousness, and we just trying to break out, and we don't know how. And this is the way we do it, y'all. And I want people to, and I want white America to realize this. Just like I said, we would be in y'all way because we're asleep. Imagine if we wasn't asleep. Imagine if I had a country and I was exactly who I was, and I had a military. People like Donald Trump could call me and I could say, "Come on, Trump, we finna jump these motherfuckers." Could you imagine if China come over here and somebody like me is in power and I know what's going on and I can successfully direct my people? We can jump China. So my main thing is, if black people come back into power righteously, and it don't even gotta just be me. I'm just apparently qualified, but it could be any righteous black man that knows what's really going on. If we come back into power and we're not cooning and our people really trust us because we holding down our culture, but we're not racist and we're not trying to beef with white people, you have a fucking ally. And not only do you have an ally, I can wake up the entire continent of Africa and let them know. Because I'm gonna tell white people the truth. If you worried about black people in America, you better be worried about Africa. Because I'm gonna be honest, and this is no disrespect to Africa. Them niggas over there is sleep. So if they wake up, the first thing they gonna do is blame y'all for everything, and they gonna come over here trying to tear shit up. And then they gonna look at us like, why are we not helping if we don't help? So you're gonna need somebody like me to go over there to Africa and say, hold the fuck up. It was them, not them. So if white people don't allow black people to wake up, you might have another storm on your hands of angry, out of control black people. So look at these riots and look at all of the niggas that went out there and tore shit up because they don't know who to get. Now multiply that by 1,000 with the continent of Africa, because all Africa know is there's white people over here vaccinating us. All Africa know is there's white people over here raping these kids. All Africa know is there's white people over here stealing our resources. They don't know shit about no deep state. They don't know shit about no Freemasonry. So you're going to need somebody who can direct that anger properly. So if white America allows somebody like me to come into power, you'll actually have a fucking ally that can stop a war. Because not only do you got to worry about blacks in America, you got a whole fucking continent over there that's going to be seeking revenge in a second. And they don't really know who the fuck is who. So you're going to need a guy like young Pharaoh to say, wait a minute, all 54 countries. It wasn't those white people. It was those white people.
Right.
And you're going to need somebody to calm the storm. So for most white people who feel like we don't want to see a black person in power, okay, well, don't allow me to wake my people up. Don't allow me to positively, cultivate the minds of black people. You're going to have a whole nother motherfucking problem on your hand. You're going to have a continent full of black people that are angry, and they're going to go hard. And I'm going to tell you why they're going to go hard. Because they don't have shit to lose. They ain't got shit. They over there living in huts. So all it takes for China to say, hey, black people, we're going to weaponize y'all, and we're going to militarize y'all like we're already doing. And we're going to
they're already doing it.
Yeah. And we're going to give y'all technology to go over there and fuck up America. All them niggas going to be thinking of is, yeah, they enslaved us. And they're going to come over here and try to fuck this shit up. And so you need somebody like me. I don't give a fuck what you say. You need me. You need me to be able to say, no, black people, it's those motherfuckers. Yeah. It's not these motherfuckers. So
somebody that understands how we've been infiltrated, all of us,
sir.
And that includes the black community, the Latino community. That includes every community out there has been infiltrated. And, people like us right here on this board, you guys out there, this is a very interesting conversation. We're getting a lot of different feedback, but this is a conversation of understanding each other, right? This is a conversation of bringing us together.
Yes, sir.
Pharaoh has.
And how are we going to honestly know how each other feels unless we allow each other to speak plainly and clearly about exactly what our experiences are personally, individually, and that is what the beauty I think of this conversation is.
Yeah, it's been, but this is an honest conversation amongst adults. There are a lot of people that screamed out here and said, "I'm never going to listen to you again." But you know what? That's your choice. The choice to know is yours. So
and that's okay because you'll be back.
Yeah, they'll be back, and because we're telling the truth, you have things that I'm learning from you today, sir. This is what it's about. It's about understanding each other. We had some questions. Shady, do you have any comments real quick, and then we'll throw it back to young Pharaoh here.
Well, I would like to just comment on the idea of what young Pharaoh here is explaining of the cultural heritage of each individual system. Like you have to view yourself as a genetic system.
Right.
Me in particular, I am of the genetics of the Nordic races or whatever. There is this difference on Earth. We know in our minds that we shouldn't think, feel, see, or hear things different, or we shouldn't judge people by the color of their skin, only the content of their character, right? But we live in a world where everyone is mirror tipsy toppy back and forth on the other side, thinking that you're doing these things, when in all reality you are being suppressive, even though. So like for all of us to come together and say, hey, we have this issue, we have that issue, we have issues with the Asian community, we have issues with the Latino community, we have issues with the Black community, we have issues with the white community. Each community has their own issues. They aren't the same. Just like if I go to the doctor, I'm not the same as the last person that came in there. America is a vastly expanding experiment in a melting pot of ideas of people coming here. Like for instance, your ancestors, some of your ancestors came here, some of your ancestors were forced here. It's not all the same. And some of my ancestors probably owned slaves, some of them probably didn't. And that goes back to European times. This goes back to the ancient times, the lineage of these bloodlines. None of us are independent of that. We're all responsible for that. But at the same time, we are more responsible for what we've done in our current lives, however long you've been alive, and the choices that you've made. And those choices are what we should be graded on. In particular, is the unity message, I think personally, is that we all are guilty of whatever we've done. We also have inconsistencies and shortcomings. Every single one of you who are listening to this broadcast has a shortcoming. You're not perfect. No one is, and no one has all the answers except for the Most High. And that's exactly what we're trying to give praise to, is the Godhead, the God, the creator, that entity that is above this, that is giving us the opportunity to have this experience, is the blessing. And what we do with it is what counts. Individually, what you do with it is what counts, not the cards you're given, how you play them.
And Shady and I have always said this: I don't think people are truly ready for real freedom. You're going to hear things that you don't like. You're going to see things you don't like. But that is freedom, folks.
Yes. Yes.
Real freedom, not the one they want.
The exact same with the truth. With the truth, when the truth, people tell me all the time, that I'm mean, but I speak the truth, and the truth hurts because the truth points out the inconsistency and also points out the hypocrisy and also points out things that are funny, right? So the truth is what we're trying to get to, and we really can't get to it until we learn to trust one another, that we're not going to take advantage of the other person again for our own agenda. We don't have an agenda. We're trying to operate without an agenda other than a unifying message to humanity to say we have a common enemy that we need to fight. We can work on sorting out our differences in a little bit, but we have a common enemy that is literally octopus-like, encompassing every single portion of the current modern world.
Don't make me try to say tentacles again.
I almost said it.
Oh,
and I said,
man,
I'm
dude.
good of tentacles.
I always say testicles. I know. All right, so check this out. So we got Lauren Pathfinder. Thanks, Matrix and Shady, for having him on as a guest. You're very welcome. Right now, we've got this one here. Ain't voting, but y'all go put Trump back in the office. White people, is what Jasmine said. I hope that everybody realizes that Trump is probably more on the target than any other president that I've ever had in my lifetime.
Not to cut you off, but you see the type of shit I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's the type of shit I'm talking about. And
Yeah.
this is why I'm saying this is why and I'm not trying to be egotistical. This is why I'm telling white America, let me do what I do.
Yeah, you're doing great with your,
let me do what I do, because you got ignorant motherfuckers out there that just want to blurt shit out like that and have no clue of what they're talking about.
That's
and
right.
My main thing is what Donald Trump's mentality and his understanding. That is what I want in the White House. I don't give a fuck that it's a white man in the White House. I want a vengeful, righteous spirit in the White House. So my main thing is, this is what I'm talking about. And, and this is what, like, for example, when I started doing Muay Thai, my coach was white. Shout out to my coach. Shout out to Coach Corey. Love you to death. And you know how many people was like, oh, you a coon. You getting trained by a white man. And it was like, God damn. You know what I'm saying? It was like everything I've ever wanted to do in my life, my community didn't provide that shit. And not that we couldn't have. We didn't give a fuck. Let's just be honest. Y'all niggas blew money on rims and shit like that. Nobody, like for example, you know how many little black girls want to do ballet? Why we don't build ballet, whatchamacallit, settings in our community? Why we don't build MMA gyms in our community? So my main thing is everything I've ever, like a lot of people don't know, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a stuntman. And right now, I damn near will still be a stuntman. I'm very athletic. I flip all that. But it's like my community never provided me the opportunity. My rich black celebrities never came back and built opportunities. So now my main thing is this: for the places that we can go for the opportunities, we get attacked by our own people who not providing opportunity. I can go do MMA and you call me a coon because my coach is white, but there are no black MMA gyms where I live. Do you think I want to drive damn near 30, 45 fucking minutes to go to a gym when I wish I could drive 10? No, but I do it because it's what I love to do. So people got to understand this. We must drain the swamp so that we can all create a place that we love to be and do what we love to do without ignorantly fighting. That is what we're
for
doing.
Humanity.
So lashing out at white people like Donald Trump for doing something that black people like Louis Farrakhan or Jay-Z or your favorite rapper is not doing is fucking stupid. Right. I trust if Louis Farrakhan was running for president and Trump was running for president, I would vote for Trump. Now you would call me a coon, but I'm not making a coon decision. I'm making a moral and virtuous decision. And so this is why I'm telling white America, y'all have to let me do what I do, because I have to talk to my people so that they don't try to start a beef with you because they don't know what the fuck is going on. So in this, and like I just was saying, if y'all think that this shit in America is bad, Africa is going to want a piece of y'all ass because they damn sure don't know what's going on. And so this is why you're going to need somebody like me who is trusted because I keep it real and I'm knowledgeable and I can properly educate and de-escalate violence that could be brought upon by ignorance. So when I'm telling white people we need our own shit, it's not just for our good, it's for y'all good. Because if not, we see this platform, right? These gentlemen are beautiful gentlemen. And they just said something that I hope y'all realize. They were just talking about how America is a big pot of culture. And the reason that that's important is because somebody is going to feel like their culture is not getting enough shine. So look at the way rappers and people kill each other over or start beefs because somebody, got a better song or, people get killed because they got, more money or jewelry than each other. Okay, now how do you think wars start? Wars start on political scales the same way that they start in the hood. Somebody getting too much money, they're getting all the girls, somebody gets jealous and they kill them. Boom. Now let's take that same understanding of envy and jealousy and breed that into culture. Somebody's culture constantly is getting shine, somebody's culture is not. The person whose culture is not eventually is about to feel some type of way and they're going to act out. And so when it comes to me saying we need to be segregated on levels involving history and science is not out of hate. It's so that everybody can get the shine that they feel they want, because if not, eventually envy and jealousy is going to take over and somebody going to try to pop that bottle on somebody. And so my main thing is I'm trying to wake my people up, not only so that we can have a better quality of life, but so that I can stop another potential war that may be coming after the deep state is drained. Because once we drain the swamp, I don't want white people to think this shit is over. And I'm telling you that because I'm black. So y'all are now thinking how we're thinking. You're at home and white people only feel like we got to drain the swamp and then it's over. Y'all not conscious of the fact that there's an entire continent of black people that want some fucking beef. There's an entire country of black people in this country that want some fucking beef. And so what y'all got to realize is even though you didn't start the beef, once you drain the swamp, the beef that they started is still fucking here. And they don't know nothing about no deep state. All they know is white man, white woman dead. And so when Hillary Clinton is gone, the cabal is gone, these benevolent extraterrestrials are gone, guess what's still going to be here? Angry ass black people who've been oppressed for over 6,000 years.
Yeah.
And the only thing standing between them and y'all is a conscious black man who they trust, who they know will not sell them out, but who is not an asshole and will not instigate violence to make them feel like I'm a part of them.
Yeah, so Pharaoh, so what you're doing is you're trying to educate the people that your fans, let's just call them your fans, because that's what they are. Your fans, your people, your family, our families, we're all family ultimately. So once you educate these folks, we can really all rise together and unite and fight the scourge, the hidden enemy, the cult, the people that we need to get out of this freaking control structure, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, even maybe a little bit deeper that he's touching on there is very interesting. But what we understand is that the deep state, quote unquote, utilized the massive engineering and equity in the United States to supercharge enslaving the rest of the world. And so we know that as the Q community, most of the people are very aware of the Federal Reserve System and how this system was reserved to set up a debt slave system and to remove all of the actual wealth and then utilize all of this paper to circumvent and destroy the rest of the world. But I would like to say to you that whenever this process is over, that the majority of the majority, man, of the patriots who are in this fight, and let's just remember there was only 3% of us who stood up against the monarchy in 1776. A huge majority actually of Americans, people who lived in the colonies, did not want to separate from the king or the monarch because they like the pleasure and of the security of that. And so what we're trying to say here is we're going to come out the other end of this with a truthful conversation that not only tries to heal but acknowledges how we as Americans, this is what we did. We allowed the state to subvert our resolve. We're supposed to, as Americans, we're supposed to be involved in the economic, geopolitical game structure every second of every day. We're supposed to all be plugged in and we're supposed to all be thinking forward on our country and the way it's going. And we've become complacent in the last 60 to 100 years to completely pretend like, oh, we're just living our lives and the government just kind of does what it does. And then we all sit around and we point to it and say, oh, they're stupid. The reality is they're not stupid. It's a plan. They've been engineering a plan for decades and decades or centuries, and now it's coming to this point. And what we would like to do on the other side of it is to acknowledge our part in that, to take responsibility for our part in that, and to also step up to implementing all of these hopefully newfound technologies, whether it be Tesla technologies or these sound technologies, healing technologies, frequencies, all of these different things that we know are there to implant on the world as a little bit of a reconciliation for the actions of us being non-observant of our government and the way that it's marauding its slave grip on the world. We see that, my friend. We do see that.
Yes, sir. And I agree. Everything you said was facts. And I'm in total agreement with you. And the only thing in our way are the sheep and the ignorant people. You got people that if I'm in a car with you and you drive me through the white community, you got people that say, why are you with that black guy? If I drive you through the black community, you got people that say, why are you with that white man? And so it's your job to educate your people, and it's my job to educate, my people. And in order to detox, you have to segregate. And that's just common. Like even people that fast, you have to segregate. When you meditate, even look at Buddha. Buddha wouldn't have became Buddha if he didn't segregate against toxic humans and go somewhere where he can do him. So, what I'm letting people know is I understand that white people deserve what's best for them. And I understand that the only person that can give that to them is a white person that white people trust. And it's the same thing with black people. Black people, we deserve what's best for us. And the only person that can give that to us is a black person that black people trust and knows what he's actually fucking talking about. And so however we're going to do it, whether we create two governments in one country, whether we create, whether I can buy some land in Africa and start a country and extend citizenship or some shit like that, we can figure it out. We're not dumb. My main thing is I know that these people have been using my people as pawns. I know that. And I know for a fact that even once this swamp is drained, now it's going to be a second battle if we don't educate people. And the battle is going to be the black people that'll look at somebody like me and say I'm a coon because I'm talking to patriotic whites like you because we're woke and they're asleep. So if we don't wake this, if we don't, if I, like I'm speaking on behalf of black people, if black people are not allowed to wake up, what white people don't realize is you're going to have 2 wars on your hands, like you almost just had during these riots. You're going to have to drain the swamp, and then you're going to have to fight off a bunch of angry ass black people that are actually right, but they're just wrong at the same time. So what I'm here to do is to say, hey, all angry black people, I'm angry too, but this is who the fuck you be angry at, and this is the positive outlet that we use to express our anger. So this is 2 jobs that gotta be
well
done.
said.
And the reason, it's 2 jobs that gotta be done. And this is why I tell white America, you know, even before y'all connected with me, I always say on my channel, white America, y'all gonna see me get my people strong, but don't worry because I'm not a threat to you. I'm an ally. I want to build my people up. I want to educate my people. I want to militarize my people, not so we can invade America, but so when people like y'all discover an issue, or if we discover an issue, we can get on the phone and we can jump the motherfucking issue, period. And so that's what people need to realize. It's not about sweeping history under the rug. It's not about acting like, you know, terrible shit didn't happen. It's about blaming the proper people who did it, getting rid of them, neutralizing the sheep who have been psychologically brainwashed to become threats, and for everybody to get what they want, for everybody to be able to honor their ancestors, their mothers, their fathers the way they want, and for us to be able to enjoy ourselves while still being who we are as individuals. That is where my
That's the message right there.
Right
there,
yeah,
sir.
and I don't know what, yes, sir. Like I said, I don't know what no other black person is talking about. As you can see, I don't deal with nobody, let alone black or white. I stay by myself because I know I have a great mentality that nobody I have met of my people have had that have been in leadership positions, from Candace Owens to Farrakhan to nobody. So my main thing is I rock by myself, but I know that that's what needs to be done. So step 1, drain the swamp. Step 2, how can we segregate ourselves in a non-hateful manner that's healthy for everybody? And the only conclusion that I've come up with is that we need to segregate ourselves in the field of education and maybe possibly medicine. Other than that, everything else we can keep doing. We can stay socializing and all of that. And I already know the type of government that I would personally like to run. I want to run a meritocracy where the leaders are not, you know, financial pigs. They're actually intelligent. And in order to get a high quality in the government, you have to be, you know, qualified. And we know that meritocracies are ran by debates. So now somebody can't just say, you know, oh, I'm in this position because this is my friend. No, if you want to be a doctor, you better be the best motherfucking doctor we can get, because it's 1,000 other people that want that slot and they debating for that. So I already know what we need. So what I would suggest is a meritocracy in this, 2 governments in this country. The one that I want to run is a meritocracy where we have the most qualified people in every position, and we can do what's best for us, for our people. And when white America needs us, we're a fucking phone call away. When white America wants to throw a national holiday, we can agree on it and we can throw it, and we can bring people out in peace and in love, and it don't got to be no beef. And when the police act up, we can really prosecute them because our police is black. So now people can't just say, oh, it's the white man. Now we can actually say, no, you niggas is really committing crime. We don't want to hear shit about that guns and the drugs because we're all black and we're not corrupt. So if you still out here acting like an asshole, we don't want to hear that shit. Stop blaming that shit on the white man. Stop blaming that shit on the system.
So Pharaoh, it's a way of healing. It's a way of healing. That way you can't blame this. You can't blame white people for it's a healing system, because there's so much distrust out there, folks, in the black community, and not just in the black community, Hispanic, even in our community. Guys, we don't trust anybody anymore, and that actually hurts us going forward with this great awakening too. I understand what you're saying. I do. Philip Proffer wants to know for you, young Pharaoh, would you run for political office? He says.
You know what? I don't know. It depends, because I know they would try to kill me. Like, you know, so I'm just real. Like right now, me running for political office, I don't know how long that shit will last. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just be honest. Like, let's just be honest. Like,
I have similar feelings about that topic.
Yeah, like I don't know how long that shit will last. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like a
Yeah.
you know, if I do run for any form of anything, it would be what I'm talking about right now. I would want to start my, like, honestly, I want to start my own. If I don't start my own country, I want my own government. But I don't want it for war. I want it for exactly what we're talking about. But the problem is, me and your understanding is light years away from people understanding. So when I say segregation, people automatically jump back to 1964,
Right.
and they don't even understand. When we say segregation, we in a whole nother field of consciousness. So
Exactly right. I understand what you're
And I think that was being misinterpreted.
It was being misinterpreted badly.
And I think what he's under, think about it, guys. I mean, we could fix this real quick if in the areas where people live, there are people policing them.
What the fuck? And it's like, listen, we don't have to we can call our white friends. It's nothing for me to get on the phone and say, hey, yo, in the Matrix, y'all trying to go to the club? Like, what the fuck is the problem?
Right.
I'm not saying we can't socialize. I'm just saying, why can't we see us in charge of us? And I'm just like, if I could have, I don't even need an hour. If I could have a 20-minute conversation with Donald Trump, I would have the black community on track. Because I'm gonna tell you what, people don't take accountability. And what white people got to realize is this: there are some toxic niggas out here. I agree. There are some non-toxic niggas out here. But what y'all got to realize is you're never going to stop crime, white people. You know why? Because people that are committing crime can just blame you. So every time y'all come in our community and you say, oh, y'all niggas is selling drugs and whoopty-whoop, the first thing they're going to say is, well, you brought the guns and drugs here. And that is an excuse for them to never pick another alternative lifestyle. And then on top of that, technically they're right, because the system that the deep state set in place doesn't allow us to have alternative lifestyle. So if you let somebody like me come in and rule my people, now when we catch a motherfucker with a brick of cocaine, it ain't no motherfucking excuses. It's just straight that you're just committing crime. Now when we catch somebody not trying to be productive in society, it's no excuse, because you're just not being productive. You can't blame a white person because it's me. And then you won't be able to say that I'm a coon or I'm selling out to white people, because I check everybody. So if we get some real life, strong, militant black leadership that understands the world, and somebody that's not a sellout from my own community, not dealing with white people, from dealing with black America, there's no more excuses for the bullshit, because it's me. You can't look at me and say, oh, Pharaoh, I'm out here, just shooting up the block and hitting random motherfuckers because the white man got me a bitch. I'm in control. What are you talking about? That's just something you chose to do. So what people need to realize is, when I say segregation in certain areas, not complete, maybe 75% segregation, y'all got to get the fuck out of that pre-programmed civil rights movement mentality and understand that it's about detoxing. We have to learn to trust each other. And you can't love nobody until you love yourself. Until everybody governs themselves and loves themselves, we cannot successfully interact with other communities. And if you don't believe me, look at the world now. White people are afraid to be themselves because they're afraid to offend us if they say some shit. Black people are afraid to be themselves because we're afraid to offend white people if we say some shit. Why are we afraid to be who we are? Why are white people afraid to say, I love my Viking ancestors? Why is that offensive? Why are white people to say, I love my patriotic, ancestors? Why are you afraid to say that? Why am I afraid to say I love Shaka Zulu? I love, what the fuck is we afraid of? We're afraid of offending each other because it's no order. So if we want order, let everybody be in control of themselves, and then let the people at the top communicate with each other on behalf of the people. There's no reason why I can't be the head of all black people. Y'all can't be the head of all white people. A Spanish person that's righteous, that's not a cartel member or some shit, can be the head of all Spanish people, and we can push our people in the directions we know we need to go. And then outside of that, me, you, and a Spanish person could get on the phone maybe once a week and say, how's it going? You know what I'm saying? You might need some help over there. Now I could send some black people over there to help. We might need some help over here. You get some white people. There's no fucking reason why we can't. There's no reason. That's how my ancestors did. That was the point of tribes. Every tribe ran its own tribe, and then the heads of the tribes, commune with each other. So why we can't do that? I don't understand.
So we got Janice Vidriani saying, so appreciate this young man's words. I'm a senior white lady, and I hear your words. God bless you. Let's see, we got...
Much love to you.
Yeah. Matrix, you're entitled to your religious beliefs, but don't try to preach against those who believe differently. Not what I'm doing at all. I never even shared my religious beliefs here on this show.
Exactly.
Let's see. Why does Q quote the Bible? Because there is good scripture out there. You know, like put on the armor of God. I really like that one. You know.
Yeah, it's innovative. It's to get you to think. People quote up. Why do you watch movies and they're not real? We're talking about because it's innovative. It's if people got to realize knowledge and inspiration is everywhere. You can go to a lake and become inspired just by the way the water moves or the way the water is still. So it's time for wisdom to come back into this world. And a lot of people, and I'm not getting on that specific, person that asked that comment, but a lot of things just go on because we're not wise. And even that question that was, asked towards Q is the exact type of shit I'm talking about. Why are we even worried about why Q quote certain things? It don't have nothing to do with us. If it don't apply, let it fly. And it's like the shit that we get taught in kindergarten, we literally don't apply it, and that's what's wrong with the world. When you're a kid, they teach you to share. We grow up, we don't want to share. Now we fuck the world up. Right. We're taught if it ain't got nothing to do with you, mind your business. Nobody want to mind their business, and everybody is worried about shit that has nothing to do with them, and that causes us not to be worried about us and not doing shit for us that has everything to do with us. So once again, we need wisdom in this world. It's time to become back wise. It's time to stop asking Siri to look shit up and start looking shit up for your own self. It's time to stop. It's just time for we have to become. In my mind, I see an ancient world with modern achievement. There's no reason why we can't bring back a samurai mentality and a samurai honor code, but with the technology that we have today, that can further that form of spirituality. It's time for wisdom. It's time for knowledge back into this world, and that's just what it is. But I'm gonna let you get back to the question.
Yeah. What about the Haitian children? Is another question by you, Patriot.
Asian or Haitian?
Haitian.
Well, that depends on the level of interactiveness that Haitians would want to have with me, because I can't speak for every black person. I can only speak for myself. For example, if Donald Trump was to call my phone right now and say, "Young Pharaoh, I love your idea. We're going to make it to go," every black person is not going to agree with me. So, every black person is not going to want to actually do. You got, and this is no attack to my people, but you got people who like being lazy. You got people who like being taken care of. You got people who like being lied to. You got people who all they want to do is literally watch BET all day and talk about who the fuck had the best mixtape. So, you know what I'm saying? Those are not going to be the type of people that wants to deal with somebody like me who's talking about self-accountability and shit like that. So it really is deeper than just what about the Haitian people. What I'm saying is I'm calling upon what about the righteous people. If you're a righteous person and you a vibrant soul, it's no way you can hear me and say I don't make sense if you're black. So really it's going to come down to the people that want to go in the direction I'm going. I will welcome you, whether you here or wherever. We can, whatever is going on. But for the people that don't, good fucking luck. Keep trying that shit how you've been trying it. I don't give a fuck. Die. You know what I'm saying? Get enslaved, get invaded. I don't give a fuck. So my main thing is, I know I'm not going to be able to say, listen, Harriet Tubman said she freed thousands of slaves, and she would have freed thousands more if they knew they were slaves. And that's exactly where I'm at right now. And I'm like I said, I'm not nice like people. I'm at the point now. I'm a no tolerance type of guy for dumb shit. If I'm sitting here telling you something to save your life and you don't listen, I don't give a damn. So it ain't even just Haiti. It's anywhere that black people are in the world. Africa, the UK, America, Australia, Germany, Russia. If you hear me and you don't give a fuck about what I'm talking about, continue to live the way you are living. All I'm saying is don't bother me or don't bother nobody that I'm fucking with.
No, I think this, gonna come. Yeah, and I think this question might be like what they've done with the child trafficking in Haiti, right? Like, with the Clintons funding everything in there. Big hurricanes happen, ports open up, kids go missing. It's.
We need to restore that. But Haiti can be restored once the swamp is drained. And my thing is, Haiti can be educated to where it can restore itself. Right. So you know, we don't, white or black people don't technically have to go to Haiti. We just have to say, hey, Haiti, this is what we're doing. And if you're interested, we'll give you the blueprint and you can do it for yourself.
Right.
So, you know, we just got to, the biggest thing about Haiti is making sure the deep state gets the hell out of Haiti. That's the
right.
main issue. Once the swamp is drained, we will start to see people liberate themselves before we even got to get over there. So it really, the main thing is just draining the goddamn swamp.
Yeah, and that's true because, you know, if you look at Haiti, it's in the WikiLeaks document, Hillary Clinton's emails, you know, there's so much open source that you can find what they've done in Haiti. They are smuggled out. There is a quote unquote adoption process. There's local staging ports friendly to the Clinton Foundation. So cross against locations relative to Haiti, you know, and to Epstein's Island. I mean, you know, so yeah, I think we get it. And yeah, if we get rid of the deep state, AKA, you know, these bad people, Haiti can heal itself. That's absolutely, I agree with that. Good answer. Good answer. Yeah, with that, man, I tell you, Pharaoh.
What a great show, guys.
Holy moly.
I think we just saved the world with this show.
I think we did. I think we did. And I think we challenged a lot of people's belief systems. And I want you to know that, you know, nobody here is wanting to change your mind. You can only change your mind. You can only do what you want to do. The bottom line here is where we go one, we go all. And understanding the perspective from young Pharaoh should be very valuable to each and every one of us. I know it's valuable to me. And Pharaoh, I really thank you for sharing your knowledge with us and stuff that I did not know, my friend, because, you know, I don't think that way. You see what I'm saying? Like, right. I am not quote unquote racist. I'm individual. You show, you know, Shady has a great saying, you know, once people show you who they are, believe them.
That's right.
And I don't care what color or anything you are. I judge everybody by just who they are, not what they are, what they believe in, what anything. The bottom line is young Pharaoh is waking up a lot of beautiful people. And when those beautiful people wake up, they're going to be with us. Well, there are a lot of them. A lot of people are already here in this fight with us. And I appreciate you, young Pharaoh.
Yeah, man, I would like to second that for sure. I really appreciate your no nonsense approach to the truth. I love the way that you don't beat around the bush and that you really just stand in your power and say what's on your mind. It's a breath of fresh air to me. And please, my friend, I would encourage anytime that you would like to come back over here or have us over to your place, we would love to share that experience in the future, my friend.
Yeah. You know, Pharaoh, real quick, I'd love to share with you what Shady and I and what people hear about the Pacers, the history that we learned about you know, they bought the Vatican, they own the Federal Reserve, they came here from Queen Marie Antoinette. I'd love to share some of that with you, my friend.
Yes, sir. Listen, I tell you what, I appreciate you guys, you know, more than a lot. I want you to know that. And I want you guys to know, you know, I don't just run my mouth on the internet.
I love you, brother. It's really what it is. I love you, you know.
Yeah. If it get real in the field, you can call my phone and I'll pop out. And I'm gonna bring some people with me. I can't guarantee everything gonna be legal and registered, but we will come get on the field with y'all. We will come get on the field with y'all. So I just want to let y'all know, you know,
and I got you too.
I have a vision of a world where everybody could get what they want and still preserve who they are. And if that vision can come into fruition, I think it should be a lot of universal quotes that we all, you know, abide by to keep our nations connected. And one of them should be, we go one, we go all, because that will allow us to never forget that where we go one, we go all. Damn it. Right. And with that being said, whenever you guys are ready to have me back on this channel, I'm ready. And for the historical bomb that you want to drop, whenever you're ready, you know, we can work it out behind the scenes. And you're welcome to come on my channel and drop any heat bombs you want to drop. And to any white person that's watching this, when you hear the word segregation, I know you might feel some type of way because you want to convince me that you're not racist and you're safe to live by. Right. And what I want you to know is I understand that. I'm not saying segregation from a perspective of 1960. I'm saying segregation from a perspective of universal law. It's just like animals. Animals come together and then they go home. When the birds go home, they go in the tree. When the fish go home, it goes in the water. And so we need to come back into nature. Everybody needs to create their own stronghold and we socialize with others outside that stronghold. But in that stronghold is where the greatness happens. And white people don't deserve to have black people telling them what the fuck to do. And black people don't deserve to have white people telling them what to do. And all of our
Different
leaders
styles,
need to stay in contact with each other in these nations, and the contact needs to stay open and transparent so that the people of our nations know that we're talking and they know that we're interacting and that we're constantly checking up on each other. So if somebody needs something and they can't provide it to themselves, we can help each other out. So we basically need to create big ass tribes. And like I said, I know my role. And my role is to not only wake up black people, but to stop another unnecessary war. Because what I want white people to realize is this. If you don't let me wake my people up, is you ever wake somebody up out their sleep? Everybody don't wake up peacefully. Some people wake up screaming because they having a nightmare. And Africa and Black America is having a nightmare. And they're going to wake up either two ways. They're going to wake up peacefully, or they're going to wake up screaming, kicking, and fighting. And I'm trying to stop them from waking up screaming, kicking, and fighting. So like I'm letting white America know, I'm not a threat to y'all. You can call me, whatever. If your business got destroyed, I'll come do a meet and greet there. I'll bring my platform. We bring some money through it. You can utilize me in any healthy manner, but you have to let me do what the fuck I do. Because if not, when black people wake up and Africa wakes up, they are going to try to fight you. And there's going to be nothing I can do, because they're going to look at me like I'm a coon. And they're going to look at me like I'm somebody who really was a coon when I'm not. And so my main thing is, if y'all not helping me wake the world up, then just get out the way, because I see this shit. And if nobody believes I have good foresight, I wouldn't be on this channel doing an interview with y'all in a beautiful, live stream with y'all if it wasn't for my foresight. So I have a great ability to see 20 moves ahead. And I see what the deep state has done. They have basically created a self-destruct button inside of the people. And that self-destruct button was, for example, let's flip the script, right? As we end this live stream, let's flip the script. Let's say black people would have woke up before white people to the government. Let's just say that would have happened. Could you imagine me and black people running up to try to get Hillary Clinton? Y'all would have thought we was trying to destroy the government.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And y'all would have attacked us thinking you was protecting the country. So all I'm saying is, sometimes if you put the shoe on the other foot, you realize that they both are walking the same fucking way unknowingly. And so what I'm trying to prevent white people from, what I'm trying to prevent is what white people would have thought they was trying to prevent. If black people would have caught on to the deep state before white people, and we would have tried to take that shit to Hillary Clinton, y'all would have thought we was trying to destroy this country, and y'all would have fought us. Now, since that's a fact, let's realize that that's actually still a potential fact. White people are trying to stop the deep state, aka the government. Black people have been trained to believe that all white people are horrible, from normal Americans to the government, which means if some shit pop off, you're going to have an unnecessary enemy that can actually be your ally if you just fucking talk to them and stop being scary.
That's
now,
right.
You can't talk to all of them because you just can't. Me personally, the way that my natal chart works out, I have a great gift of communication, and I just so happen to be black and be from the ghetto. So I have all of the qualifications that I need to talk to black people from the ghetto, not just in America, but anybody from the ghetto anywhere. So let me do my fucking job and help me do my fucking job. I'm going to help you drain the swamp, and I'm asking you to help me stop unnecessary angry people. Y'all get what y'all want. We get what we want. And anybody that's not on board, fuck them. They can do them, and we can do us.
That's right. Well said.
Well said.
Well said. And for any young Pharaoh folks that are here, you guys are amazing. I've heard a lot of people ask. I welcome you here every day. We're here Monday through Friday, 1 to 5. Or excuse me, 1 to 5. It seems like 1 to 5 today, but 1 p.m. Eastern. We're here for you guys as well. I would love to introduce Q for you. Somebody, Mike Ward there says, Michael Ward says he's our Malcolm X. That's a great comment right there, sir. I want you guys to understand who Q is, because it is fighting the invisible enemy. Basically, this Trump victory put the mainstream media and political establishment in a complete tailspin. They could have, they could have believed he won and never thought they thought she would now never lose. And there was way too much at stake, too many bad deals, schemes, corruption that had to stay hidden. So consequently, the fake news media, the MK Ultra run by the CIA, as Pharaoh has pointed out, it began an all-out assault on our president. That's why you see hate Trump. 96% is hate Trump. But patriots, like myself, stood by our duly elected president, and he needs our help. And then so QAnon, 10 months after President Trump's inauguration, someone named Q arrived onto the scene. Q claimed to be intelligence insider, perhaps military. There's 10 people that know the complete picture, 3 non-military, but we're actively helping this president. Q selected an off-the-beaten path of communications. It was the 4chan, then 8chan, now it's 8kun, dropping these, what they quote, intel crumbs for curious anons like us to investigate. And these crumbs would add up to be the greatest public intelligence drop in the history of the world. Q's purpose is to support this president, expose the lies, the corruption, the evil that has plagued this world that Pharaoh is talking to you guys about. Q's purpose is to wake up patriots worldwide to see through these lies and take back the power that rightfully belongs to the people. Sheep no more. And this is a great awakening, and it terrifies the old guard. They don't like us being on the show together. Me, you, Shady and Pharaoh, and you guys out there. They don't like it. They don't like it at all. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. And since they can't directly stop it, they program the people of our communities to stop it through peer pressure and the dumb shit that people like to say out their mouth. Some of it we've seen in the comments today. And this is why these conversations are important, because we break down barriers, because we felt this entire live stream go good, then it got a little intense, then now at the end of it it's like, oh shit, we all really do have the same understanding. So this is really the point of this. And like I said, I believe that this conversation just literally saved the world. They should fucking play this live stream on CNN or something.
Yeah, this great awakening terrifies the old guard, guys, and they'll do everything they can to stop it. But you know what, Pharaoh, they are losing, and they are losing badly, my friend.
That's right. And we gonna I'm jumping off the ropes. I'm about to leg drop somebody.
I'm about to go out. I'm about to go out. I love when you do that. And welcome, young Pharaoh fans. You are more than welcome here on the Matrix. I got chills. This has been an amazing show. Shady, do you want to wrap it up before we get out of here? And then we'll go ahead.
Yeah, man. I'm just in awe of this gentleman and of all of the patriots all around the world who brought themselves out of their shells into a conversation. No, we don't agree, but what we do agree on is we can agree to disagree, and we can work together. That's what they want you to do. That they want you to think, because maybe you don't agree with something that I said, or something that young Pharaoh said, or something that Matrix said. You can't work together with us because you didn't get your proper amount of confirmation bias. So what I'd like to say is, you are being cognitively dissonant. You're not understanding the conversation, and you're using your own image to project as opposed to experiencing your own power to manifest. Your power is to manifest for you. You do not have the power to manifest for me, and you do not have the power to manifest for young Pharaoh, but you do have the power to manifest for you. And if we each individually do that, just like the man said, we will save the world from utter destruction. That's what we're trying to do. You can disagree, but agree that we don't want utter destruction, right? And so with that, guys, much, much love. And I think this was a brilliant interview, my friend. And like I said, you are welcome here at any moment.
And Pharaoh, much love and respect, my friend. Much love and respect, sir.
Much love to y'all. Shout out to everybody on this platform. Shout out to Q, and the type of guy I am. I don't like to be in people's business, but, we can keep subconsciously tag teaming each other. Me, Q, Patriots. I'm going to do my job to wake up black people around the world properly. And, so they don't come out they sleep kicking and fighting at everybody, because we're having a nightmare right now. And, we're gonna drain the swamp. And with that being said, I love y'all. Peace.
And ultimately, where we go one,
we go out.
That's right. You guys, I'm going to play this for you guys. Enjoy this. Pharaoh, much love, brother. We'll keep in touch.
Peace, family. Both y'all.
And I want you all to know that we are fighting the fake news. It's fake, phony, fake. A few days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are. They are the enemy of the people. underestimate the people. Never. I don't think it'll ever happen again.